I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Shams Charania reports Pacers point guard Tyrese Halliburton does have a torn right Achilles. The non-contact injury came in the first quarter of Game 7 Sunday against the Thunder. Halliburton's availability for next season is in jeopardy. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Thunder is the second youngest player to win the scoring title, the MVP, and the Finals MVP in the same season, behind only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
It's hard to believe that I'm part of that group. It's hard to even fathom that I'm that type of basketball player sometimes. As a kid, you dream, and every kid dreams, but you don't ever really know if it's going to come true.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. At age 39, Ryder Cup captain Keegan Bradley is the youngest U.S. captain since Arnold Palmer was a playing captain in 1963. Bradley tells Golf Channel the door is at least open for him to play in September after winning the Travelers Championship in Connecticut on Sunday.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
You know, I'm not even mad at you today, kid. It's a beautiful day. I'm not going to yell at you, tell you to shut up. You could be a little cretin, a heathen, probably a future felon, but I'm not even mad at you. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Jordan Kitchens in for Musa, who has no drop. That's okay, though, Jordan. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. What else would we be talking about today? Let us begin as we do every single day. We're going to hit the Bud Light Open when you can. If not, we're going to roll right into it. Jordan can't find it. Don't worry.
Off the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
For the 8th time in program history, LSU is your college baseball national champion. And we will get used to hearing this for as long as we live and people talk about the 2025 Tigers.
Shores comes set. The 0-1. Ground ball towards Dickinson. Flips it to Milam. The relay to first in time. Tigers win. Tigers win. For the second time in 3 seasons and the 8th time in program history, the Fighting Tigers reach the pinnacle. They stand alone atop the mountain. Your LSU Fighting Tigers, the 2025 college baseball national champions. 5-3 the final here in Omaha. They sweep the Chanticleers in 2 straight games. Isn't it great to have 8?
Chris Blair on the call, the LSU Sports Radio Network. I can still hear Jim Hawthorne. Thank you and good night. The ground ball to Mook in 1991. Berrios, the fly ball to Wright in 93. Of course, Warren Morris's walk-off in 1996. Doug Thompson strikeout in 1997. Cressy scoring Terrio in 2000. You can run through them all. Lewis Coleman strikeout to end the 2009 College World Series. It was Gavin Guidry just a couple of years ago, and now Chase Shores inducing a World Series ending double play. The ground ball to Dickinson flips to Milam to Jones for the 4-6-3 double play to end it. The first time in 8 championships that a ground ball double play ended the College World Series. But it all resulted in the same. LSU hoisting a trophy and celebrating a national championship now for the 8th time. And we're going to talk about the game, and we're going to talk about this College World Series and this team and everything. This is a one-topic day. But every one of these 8, they're all defined by something different and something distinct. 1991 was the first. It took Skip, it's hard to believe when we say it this way, but that was Skip's 5th trip to Omaha. He lost the first 4 times, finally broke through. 1993 is defined by that Brett Laxton moment, the complete game shutout, the 16 strikeouts in the championship game. 1996 was Warren Morris. 97 was Gorilla Ball. 2000 was Skip's last and maybe the most talented team that LSU brought to Omaha and won with until 2023, which we'll get to. Of course, 2009, Paul Maneri broke through, ended a near-decade drought for LSU. In 2023, it ended a 14-year drought and all the star power with Skeens and Cruz at the top of that team. And now this team, I believe, is defined by its depth and its resilience. You had 2 elite pitchers on this team that carried LSU not only through the SEC, but through the postseason. LSU was 17-2 when Cade Anderson started. They were 17-2 in games that Cade Anderson started. They were 16-4 when Anthony Ianson started. It's incredible. 2 of those losses under Ianson, by the way, were in the pre-conference. It's mind-boggling to think of that. But they were so fantastic. And after LSU lost Game 2 to Tennessee with Ianson on the mound, they won 9 straight Anthony Ianson starts. We talked about it for weeks and really months with this team. The reason they were favored and had a great chance to go to and through Omaha and win the last game were those 2 guys. Because when you can throw the 2 best pitchers in baseball at the front of your rotation in a postseason format and play your way through the winner's bracket, that is what can happen. And everything else fell into place. When I think about the resilience of this team, and it's something I know Jay Johnson talked about, they never got too high or too low at any point in the season. As a matter of fact, when Jay Johnson took the podium after LSU won its national championship on Sunday, this is how he opened.
Unbelievable. I'm so proud right now. It's not to be taken for granted. Being here 2 years ago, that was special, greatest night of my life. This is equal and maybe even tops in some ways. It was probably a year ago today. We had 12 players in our program that actually played on the field for us in 2024. 12, that's not a lot. Then, as Coach Bertman would say, we ended up with some really good fortune. We had to go to work. We got the really talented freshmen through the high school draft or through the Major League Baseball draft, and in a month's time, we were able to add Chris, we were able to add Anthony, Zach Cowan, Luis Hernandez, Danny Dickinson, to those 12 guys, which were the right 12 guys. And not included in that 12 is Chase Shores. You don't get to this podium, you don't get to this moment without a lot of things going right over a long period of time. Chase Shores is the first real dude high school player that committed to us when I accepted the job. And I think this is appropriate to have these three players here. They are exactly what this team was, which is our motto for the year was tough and together. And I've never seen a team more mentally tough and consistent.
Tough and together. It's what they were. It was awesome to see, man. And they were that throughout. Think about how this season went. You lose the series to Texas, and you come back and run rule ULL, and then sweep Mississippi State. You sweep Oklahoma, then you get swept at Auburn. How do you respond? You win a series against Bama when you had to because you're going Tennessee at A&M Arkansas. You beat Tennessee, and think of the dramatics in which you won Game 1 with the walk-off, weathering, if you'll forgive the pun, the weather delay. Then you go lose 2 out of 3 on the road against A&M, which was so disappointing, especially looking ahead with Arkansas, your toughest series, coming to the box. You take 2 out of 3 from Arkansas, another 1:17 a.m. game. You're going to South Carolina, a team you should handle. You lose Game 1, bounce back and win the next 2. Just think about in games. You're down 5-1 to Little Rock in an elimination game. All you do, 6 unanswered, and you go on to win 10-6. The weather delays throughout the season. A weather delay in Omaha that messed up your pitching because you lose Ianson after 3 innings in the UCLA game. What do? No biggie. Here comes Kason Evans and does what he's done for you all year and just delivered. Even at the CWS, it happened. Look, individual games. We can look to Sunday. Coastal Carolina gets up 1-0. That lasted exactly half an inning. In the ensuing half an inning, boom, LSU gets that run right back to tie it. They just handled adversity so exceptionally well this season, which was just awesome to see. And anytime you win a championship, you're going to think about the forever moments. In the history of LSU baseball, they have played, Sunday was the 80th game that LSU has played in the College World Series. 80. They've played 80 games in the CWS. And you think about some of the great moments, Laxton in 93, Skeens against Wake Forest, Lang against Cal State Fullerton. People forget about this one because that team didn't win, but Lang threw a complete game against Fullerton in an elimination game back in 2015 when he was a freshman, Alex Lang. You throw Cade Anderson out there, the second complete game shutout in the World Series in LSU history, just the third in this format of the championship series, and when you absolutely had to have it. I mean, you're 5 batters, well, I guess you're 8 batters into that game. You're 8 batters into that game, the scoring was done, and Cade Anderson held the rope the entire way. Jared Jones, his walk-off winner against Arkansas, is going to be right there with Todd Walker and Warren Morris and Brad Cressy and Blake Dean and Tommy White. Now Jared Jones is on that list as well. This team gave us some amazing moments throughout the season and lifelong moments that we'll remember that we always associate with championship teams forever. And how cool and emotional for Skip Bertman to be there in an emotional year for him when we all know Miss Sandy passed, and for Skip to be there, who's been such a great friend and mentor for Jay Johnson, as Jay has said, was just fantastic to see. We learned Daniel Dickinson's playing with a broken hamate bone. I mean, it's unbelievable when you start to pull back and in context look at what this team was able to accomplish. So the baseball Tigers are national champions for the 8th time, and we got a full day talking about it. I actually just got a text from Bill Franquez. The team has landed. They're back at campus, and Jay Johnson is going to join us at 5:15 today. So I'm gonna respond to Bill, if you'll forgive me. I know that's not probably the best etiquette here as we're live on air. But Jay Johnson is going to join us here at 5:15. We'll see if we can get maybe Coach Yeskie to join us at 5:30 or maybe a little bit earlier. So we'll see if we can make all that work. Okay, it is after further review. Really excited about the day. David Delucci will be here in 48 minutes from right now. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your national champs. I can't wait. I can't say that I know this definitively, but I would imagine a couple years ago for both baseball and for women's basketball, they had national champion bottles. I'm going to limb and guess that they'll probably be a collector's Bud Light bottle, courtesy of our friends over at Mockler Beverage and Bud Light. So the official beer of the Tigers, the official beer of your national champions. Doesn't that sound great? Is Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the national champion LSU baseball Tigers. All right, it's after further review. Quick break. I want to come back. As we mentioned, we're a one-topic day. If at any point today someone's jumping in their car, turning on YouTube, whatever, they're going to expect us to be talking about LSU baseball win the national championships. That's what we're doing. When we come back, I do want to talk about the game itself from Sunday and a little bit on Saturday as well, where Cade Anderson gave us one of the most epic performances ever. It's After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Stick around.
After Further Review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. You know what to do. Do what injured people in our state have done for decades. Get Gordon and get it done. But, of course, how about a major hat tip to Gordon? Gordon was the guy who in 2021 took the first leap into the NIL waters, the first big LSU booster to take that leap into the NIL waters. And, man, he has continued to show his purple and gold colors throughout. The Rocco's Jello Shot Challenge, Gordon, 888 Jello shots every day that LSU was in the College World Series. I don't know if you saw on social, but Gordon made it up to Omaha for the championship series, which is great to see. I know if you follow him on social media, his daughter got married last week, and so he wasn't there at the beginning of Omaha, but made it up for the College World Series championship, which was awesome to see. Great supporters of the Tigers, and of course, great community members as well for so long. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Remember, you go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, get Gordon, and get it done.
Value Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders. We're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
You gotta believe in the dream. Believe. You gotta believe in the dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Thorndike down on strikes and 3 pitches. Kate Anderson, punch out number 10. 1 down, 2 to go for the Fighting Tigers of LSU.
Yes, sir. I don't know if you could start an inning better than a 3-pitch strikeout.
Of course, they would get the next 2 outs as LSU would clinch game 1 behind arguably the greatest performance that we've seen in Omaha by an LSU pitcher. I said arguably, and there's a lot of conversation to be had, and I do understand. But the list is very short. I mean, you were talking about Brett Laxton's complete game shutout of Wichita State as a freshman back in 1993 to win the national championship. You were talking about Alex Lang threw a complete game. It was not a shutout, but he threw a complete game against Cal State Fullerton in 2015. There's Ty Floyd's 17 strikeout performance in Game 1 of the championship series 2 years ago. But he allowed 3 runs in that ball game. We talk about Paul Skeens, who was brilliant against Wake Forest, and maybe considering the talent on that Wake Forest offense, maybe that's up there. But that was 8 innings. He did not pitch the 9th or into extras. So you were talking about a complete game shutout in the World Series Championship Series, which in the 23-year history of that format, we'd only seen twice before. Absolutely magnificent job there by Kate Anderson. And, I look at that game as well, and there's a couple of things that really define it for me. Michael Braswell's defense was so important in that game 1. And despite the fact that he was on an 0 for 35, which has just got to be the most miserable thing in the world, especially in the postseason when your team's making a run, you look at the biggest plays defensively in that 1-0 game. With runners on first and second and nobody out, Coastal tries to bunt. Kate Anderson, a lefty, falls to the right side of the mound. The bunt goes down the third base line, to the right of the mound, his right, to the left side of the infield. He goes, fields it, throws it to third. Braswell's covering, out. There was, in the same half inning, which got the third out, it was the caught stealing when Alexander slid past third base. Braswell stayed with it, got the tag, out of the inning. And then, of course, in the ninth inning, with one out, looked like it was going to be a one-out single, and Braswell makes this incredible play ranging to his left for the second out of the inning, where he gobbled up the ball and got the runner by a half a step. It was amazing to watch him defensively, and it confirmed and validated in that series why he was on the field. As a matter of fact, like after the championship series, on Sunday, after LSU won it, Jay Johnson's at the podium, and he starts talking about, someone's asked about Braswell going through the struggles, and kind of relayed those conversations they had about if Braswell was going to be in the lineup, and clearly there was never a doubt.
Well, we don't win the game last night without his defense. I mean, we lose the game without his defense last night. And I was looking hard at it. Tanner's a good player, too, and he helped us get here. But, on just the offensive platoon side, it probably would have made more sense to play Tanner against Fluky and Morrison. But just with the pressure that Coastal puts on you with the inside game, we just felt like we had to play him. And there was a lot of pull side ground balls against Cade throughout the season. And so we have a meeting where we kind of talk through the lineup, and that one I just put on the board, and somebody tried to raise their hand. I was like, no, this is what we're doing tonight. And then they came back and said, good decision, coach.
It turns out it was the right decision, absolutely, Lewis. You got to that point where you were a national seed on the brink of the championship, with Braswell at third, hitting sub 200 by the end of the season. Like, it's fine. It was fine having him in there. You can have an out. You can have many of them, but you can have an out in your lineup, provided they're giving you productive ABs and they're elite defensively at a position need. Michael Braswell committed 3 errors all season, y'all. 3 errors all season. Double-digit errors is actually commonplace for SEC third baseman. By contrast, or by comparison, Tommy White a year ago in his final season at LSU had 3 errors. The year before he had 13. And so we marvel at Tommy White's improvement. I mean, think about Braswell. And by the way, he had 1 error in SEC play. 2 of his errors were at the beginning of the season. As you were still platooning, he and Reeves at third, and you're trying to find your way. Once he became entrenched as the everyday third baseman, had 1 error. So I thought Braswell was critical in game 1. And then you get to game 2, and I thought game 2 was a microcosm of LSU's season. Dominant pitching, elite defense, timely hitting, and overcoming adversity. Like, if I could define any part of LSU season, it's those 4 things. And look at what you got. Coastal Carolina did not have an at-bat with a runner at third base. They were shut out in game 1. And they had 3 at-bats with a runner in scoring position on Sunday, and they went 0 for 3. They did not get a runner to third base. They hit 2 homers, a solo homer and a 2-run homer, by the 7 and 9 hole hitters, by the way, one of whom had 3 homers on the season, which is crazy. But especially with the wind blowing in, it just being what it is. But whatever, tip your cap. Your pitching was dominant. Chase Shores and Anthony Ianson combined for 13 strikeouts. You only get 27 outs. I mean, half of the outs, they didn't even put a ball in play. You're generally going to be okay against a team that struggles to hit when you're not even letting them put it in play. Elite defense. How about Chris Stanfield, the catch on the sinking liner? Some of those plays that are going to maybe go a little understated. The play Braswell made in the first, charging on the in-between hop, charge, transfer, throw. It was a brilliant play. The TV commentators spotlighted it. You ended it on a double play, on a ground ball double play. Again, you did not commit an error in this championship series. Timely hitting. Go back to the top of the third. You're down 1-0, 2 outs, Ethan Fry up, boom, RBI double. It's a tie ball game. Another 2-out hit with runner in scoring position, which you did and what they weren't able to do. And then in the top of the fourth, after you get the 2 RBI single from Stanfield, then up comes Derek Curiel, doing the thing that he did so much this year. And again, it was a spot in the game where it's 2 outs, you're up 3-1. You've got Morrison there, ace, on the ropes, second and third, 2 out. You got to deliver here. And Curiel does, like he did all season long. And boom, you're up 5-1, and you never look back. And then I mentioned adversity. The four things that define this team: dominant pitching, elite defense, timely hitting, and adversity. I mean, you trailed early. I mean, they were ahead 1-0. And boy, did Kevin Schnall love to tell everybody what their team's record was when they scored first. And you were trailing 1-0, and they had their ace on the mound, their best guy, trying to save their season, and you immediately come back after they took the lead in the next half inning in the top of the third. You tie it, and in the top of the fourth, you put up a 4 spot, and it's ball game. Because you had Ianson, Shores, and whoever else you needed queued up to protect a 4-run lead. And that team, Coastal, wasn't getting through against LSU's bullpen that day. They were awesome, and it was great to see. A couple of other observations for all the conversation about Jacob Morrison, and one of the reasons I really liked LSU in this series, we talked about Anderson Ianson, was that. Cam Fluke was fantastic on Saturday for Coastal, and gave LSU a lot of trouble. I mean, in his 6 innings, he was fantastic. They had to go to Carbone out of the bullpen for the final 3 innings, and they were really good. They allowed 1 run. I mean, they were good enough to win, but they weren't better than Cade Anderson, who's the best pitcher in the country. But one of the things that I sort of hypothesized, and I don't think this is unique, I think a lot of people probably thought this as well, was, and I don't mean this to be a knock on Coastal, because clearly they're a very good team, but it is possible that you can have inflated statistics when you play the Sun Belt. And that's what they did. And we ran through Jacob Morrison and who he faced as a starting pitcher over this season. And it's just pretty obvious whenever you're not facing Texas and Oklahoma and Auburn and Texas A&M and Tennessee week in and week out, when your opponents, and these are opponents he faced, Kansas State, Wilmington, North Carolina, East Carolina, Georgia Southern, Troy, Texas State, Arkansas State, Georgia State, Marshall, James Madison, App State, ULM, Old Dominion, Marshall, East Carolina, then Auburn, Oregon State, and LSU. And by the way, the 3 2/3 against LSU were his second shortest outing of the year. He only threw 1 inning against East Carolina in that game. So, he's a good pitcher, but you've watched baseball, this team, and SEC play all season long. Did Jacob Morrison do anything on the mound that you went, damn, that's tough to deal with? Don't think I've seen that. You saw a 6'8" dude that throws low mid-90s with a breaking ball, which you see on lots of Sundays in the SEC. So I think it just, and I'm not, that's not I don't mean that to be insulting. He's a very good pitcher, an ERA of 2. It's just, my point is, I think LSU's hitters were just very comfortable. It just wasn't anything they hadn't seen before, and that was the big difference. The other real pivotal thing in this ball game happened there in the bottom of the first inning. And it was when it was Coach Kevin Schnall got run from the game. I want to talk about this in detail, and I'll do it later in the show. I'll do it. It's on the rundown in about 45 minutes from right now, so I'll go into detail, but I will say this right now. I think there's one moment in the game. I think there was one moment in the game where not having Kevin Schnall probably negatively affect Coastal. And maybe there was a ripple effect and emotion and all. Who knows, all right? Your leader's not there, I get it. But the one moment, because when you talk strategy in a game, like, a manager can't throw a pitch, can't field a grounder, can't judge a ball off the bat in the outfield, can't take a pitch, can't swing at a breaking ball. Like, can't do any of that stuff in game. Like, you give your guys the plan and you hope they go execute it for 9 innings. Like, that's what you do. But over the course of a game, there's going to be a few moments where you have to make a decision. Do you let a guy hit? Do you go to the bullpen at this spot? Do you shift? You know what I mean? Like, there's a few of those decisions a game. In the one spot where I was fall over stunned that Coastal didn't make a change was when they let Morrison throw to Curiel. And you could say it's easy to say with hindsight, but you got to remember the context of the situation. LSU is already up 3-1. Okay, LSU's up 2 runs already. By the way, Coastal was shut out the night before. So LSU's up 2. You've got Ianson on the mound, and you've got Shores and Evans and Cowan and Rizzi and Williams and whoever else, like literally everybody. at their disposal to protect a 2-run lead. And now LSU has runners at second and third. Second and third with 2 outs. Curiel has already seen Morrison twice. He struck out and then flew out. So he got his timing down the second time. This is the third time now Derek Curiel is going to see Morrison. And Curiel is LSU's best bat-to-ball hitter. In that moment, I could not believe they let Morrison throw to Curiel. Now, if this is April, absolutely. Put him in some adverse situations, see how he does. Of course, no worries. If it's a tie ball game, yes, sure. You're down 2 and a base hit here, you're down 4, and it's over. And they let Morrison face Curiel for a third time and it bit him in the ass. Like, that's one where I wonder, and I don't know if Kevin Schnall would ever acknowledge this because I don't think he would want to call out his assistants, but that's one where I go, if Kevin Schnall is in that dugout, is he letting Morrison throw to Curiel? Because remember, they came back and got a 2-run homer. If you get Curiel there, all else equal, it's a tie game on that homer. And we're having a different conversation about strategy, what pitchers you use down the stretch, all that sort of stuff. So, and we'll talk later about the ejection and everything that happened therein, but that was the one moment, one singular moment in the game where I looked and went, I wonder if Kevin Schnall would have let Morrison throw to Curiel, because I couldn't believe they did. And I don't care that it was righty-lefty, whatever, the splits, Curiel against lefties. I'm sure they're looking at all that stuff, but you're playing with fire if you let that guy face Morrison for a third time with effectively the game on the line. So, hat tip to Derek Curiel. Put a good swing on it, and LSU wins the game 5-3. All right, it's after further review, y'all. We're brought to you by Supper Club. You want to go celebrate? Supper Club is the best place to go celebrate anything. You want to go celebrate a birthday? Supper Club. Anniversary, a promotion, a graduation? Supper Club. You want to go celebrate the Tigers winning the Natty? Get on by Supper Club. Get your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. They're closed today. Remember, they're closed on Mondays. They're closed Sunday, Monday. They'll be back open on Tuesday. You want to go celebrate the Tigers, get a group of friends together, and get on by Supper Club right there on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge. And get your reservations at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. One of the things I always get asked, hey, can I afford it? Do I have to wear a jacket or any of that stuff? Remember, you can go eat at Supper Club for the same price as you would at any other fine dining restaurant. Now, you want to go all out? Though they got the greatest wine library in town, where you can buy a $10,000 bottle of wine. They got it if you want it. You want to go try the Japanese omi beef, which is like what they fed the samurai in that farm 500 years ago in Japan. They got that. They also have the best steaks you'll ever eat in your life. It's Supper Club. Get on by supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com for your reservation. Go celebrate anything in life. Celebrate the Tigers' victory at Supper Club. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. We'll knock out a break. Speaking of, the Tigers are back home. The championship celebration is set. I want to get a lot of your interaction and reaction in, so you can feel free to hit us up. Email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Jay Johnson will be here in hour number 3. We're very much looking forward to that conversation with Coach. We appreciate him. When Jay was with us 2 years ago, the day after they won the national championship, he was, again, very generous with his time and good enough to join us. And I remember asking him the question, about what the morning was like, and I asked him if he slept at all, and he said barely, and then woke up, and he relayed the story about how he kind of broke into Charles Schwab Field. Because I don't know if he was supposed to be there. I don't think they would have said anything to him, but I just went and sat in the dugout in peace by himself and just looked at the field and soaked it all in. I'm curious what he did this time, so we'll ask Jay that coming up here in about an hour and a half. All right, we're glad you're with us. Stick around. It's AFR.
After further review.
Congratulations to the national champion LSU baseball team from our friends over at Action Industries. They are a proud supporter of LSU athletics. They have been walking hand in hand with the Tigers all throughout this season as a proud partner of LSU athletics. Told you all throughout the season, anytime there was a mound visit, presented by Action Industries. You can check them out online at actionindinc.com. Action Industries Incorporated. actionindinc.com. Remember, when it comes to doing work inside the fence, there's two things that are basically a prerequisite. You got to have an exemplary safety record, and you got to do great work, because so many of these industrial contractors rely on repeat business. Well, You don't get to work inside the fence without an exemplary safety record. Action Industries beats the industry standard. And you don't get rehired if you don't do great work, which they've obviously done as they've been around for 43 years. They know who they are. The perfect size, that 100-person job. Maybe you got a mega job going on with these mega contractors. They can supplement that workforce if you're short on staffing. Action Industries can help. It's actionindinc.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Thorndike down on strikes for a second time today. Ianson indeed reaches strikeout number 8. Now 2 gone here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Literally throwing pitches starting the game for the final game of the national championship. So just super grateful for Coach Johnson for giving me the opportunity, and thankful for God, obviously.
That's Anthony Ianson after his stellar performance on Sunday in the national championship. What an outing for the LSU co-ace. A guy who, we think back on Anthony Ianson signing with LSU a year ago. He came in with clearly very high expectations, as he was either 1 or 2 when you talk about the top right-handed pitchers in the transfer portal. And, this year, it really was kind of a slow start for Anthony Ianson. It's funny as we look back on it now, not necessarily funny, just interesting, because you see now in totality with what the season looked like. scouts loved Ianson because of his build, because of his ability to run it up there, mid-upper 90s, the ability to throw a breaking ball for a strike, which became such a devastating weapon for him as they went throughout the season. But when you look at Ianson, as I mentioned, the LSU lost twice behind Anthony Ianson in the pre-conference. They lost. He was the starter when they lost the game to Omaha, if you remember, 5-4. And then he was also the starter when they lost to, forgive me, it was just that one in the pre-conference, when they lost to Texas, Auburn, and Tennessee. So they lost 3 conference games behind Ianson. And the one against Texas, he only went 4 1/3. So remember, the first 2 weeks of conference play, he only went 3 2/3 against Missouri, giving up 4 runs on 7 hits. And we all know what Missouri became, right? Literally the worst team in the history of the league. That's not hyperbole. They won 3 games. They were 3-27, the worst team in the history of the SEC, and he went 3 2/3 against Missouri. Like, think about that now in context. And then think about a week later, they go to Texas. He gives up 4 runs on 4 hits. He walks a couple of guys. He only goes 4 1/3. And that all coincided with Connor Ware's great outing against Dallas Baptist in Arlington. And I remember tweeting at the time, like, if anybody in this rotation falters, Connor Ware is ready to take that spot. And from that point on, Anthony Ianson was stellar. His next outing was the Mississippi State game where he struck out 12. He went 5 innings, 1 run on 5 hits, struck out 12. Then he goes to Oklahoma, goes 5 2/3, strikes out 8, 2 runs on just 3 hits. They lost the Auburn game, 4 runs on 6 hits, but then he was awesome against Alabama, went 6 innings, 1 run on 4 hits, struck out 12 against Bama, struck out 8 against Tennessee, struck out 14 against A&M, struck out 11 against Arkansas. He just boom, 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 boom. He hit his stride. Like, he found himself. And I think there is a tremendous amount of credit that has to go to Nate Yeskie. And listen, it's all right. Like, you can raise your hand. But there was a point in this season when LSU's bullpen was walking a lot of guys, and you're struggling to find that number 3, where there's a lot of people looking around going, hey, man, we got to point the finger at Yeskie. Like, that's, I mean, today's a celebratory day, but don't make me go search on Twitter for all y'all in my mentions talking about Nate Yeskie. But look now in hindsight. It's what we always say about a baseball season, man. It's a 56-game evolution. And you've got to keep getting better throughout the season. And you have such an amazing body of work in totality when you look at the evolution. And that's something that Jay Johnson on Sunday after LSU wins the national championship talked about with Nate Yeskie.
LSU. So all you college baseball historians, find me another pitching coach that's gone to Omaha with 4 different programs. Now double national championship, Oregon State and LSU. And big leaguers and All-Americans and all that. Nate is the best pitching coach in college baseball. And we've led the country in strikeouts 2 years in a row. I mean, I think it really speaks for itself. And I'm proud of him. He's a friend and loyal, hardworking, and he's really good at what he does. And if you're a pitcher out there, high school or portal, you should want to come pitch here, largely because of Nate Yeskie.
Think about, again, just think about this evolution. Jay's right. Led the country in strikeouts each of the last 2 seasons. But think about the development in those 2 years of what we've seen as the season's gone along. Like, let's start with Cade Anderson. A year ago as a freshman, the stuff was great, but he had an ERA of 27 in conference play. In 1 year's time, he becomes a guy that's probably going to be the first pick of the draft. Look at the evolution of the season. We just talked about Anthony Ianson and how that went throughout the course of the season. Look at guys like Shea Shores. Shea Shores hadn't pitched in 18 months. It was rocky early in the season. He needed mound time and refinement. And as it went along, look at what he was at the end of the season. Like, I think Shores is fascinating now. Like, he could come back to LSU, and going into Omaha, the conversations that I had with scouts, look, you can go look at mock drafts too. Chase Shores isn't anybody's first round. I was told he's probably like a late second-round pick. Does he come back, try to be a front of the rotation guy, and go 1-1? Because, brother, I got news for you. You're throwing 101 and locating your breaking ball for a strike. You're a pitch away from being Paul Skeens. Like, that's blasphemy. I get it. But listen to what I just said. He's throwing 101 and locating his breaking ball for a strike. You add a third pitch to that mix, it's unfair. So I don't know what he's going to do, but credit Nate Yeskie for that development and evolution. It's why you should be excited about someone like William Schmidt next year. I mean, I know we're talking about this championship, not getting ahead of ourselves, but I mean, Schmidt's a guy that passed on $3 million to come to campus. The stuff is undeniable. I mean, he's mid-upper 90s with a breaking ball that's got an MLB spin rate on it. I mean, the stuff is undeniable. Like Anderson, he just needs mound time and refinement. You got the right guy to do it. Incredible, man. Hat tip to Nate Yeskie. Deserves all the flowers today for what he was able to do with his pitching staff. Again, like, it's why it's so hard. We talk about it in February, March, and it's hard to see the forest through the trees. But in those first 6 weeks, you're trying to figure out who you count on and in what role. So when you get to May and June, you know the 7, 8 guys that you're going to count on that are going to get you through Omaha. Nate Yeskie identified them in their roles, used them brilliantly, and LSU's a national champion. So hat tip to Coach Yeskie as well. By the way, both Jay Johnson and Nate Yeskie are going to be with us in hour 3. Jay will be here at 5:15 Central. Nate Yeskie will follow at 5:30 Central. So I'm pumped to have both of them with us. We're blessed and appreciate those guys for making themselves available very much on a busy day. Let me not get a break, come back. The other thing that I want to talk about here to wrap up hour number 1, I mean, y'all, Daniel Dickinson was playing with a broken hand. What? We'll talk about that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Duplessis Builders, DuplessisBuilders.net. Big shout out to our friends over at Duplessis Builders. Derek Duplessis and the gang, by the way. Of course, Derek earlier this year had an NIL deal with Jacob Myers, now national champion Jacob Myers from nearby Santa Ma. Great supporter of the Tigers as Jacob is. Derek. Well, Jacob is, of course. But Derek is an LSU alum as well and proud to support the Tigers and the home team. And we're very proud of Duplessis. They were just named one of the top 50 pool builders in America. Actually, they came in number 26 on the list. You want to talk about third-party validation? There it is right there. I can say it. They can say it. But when you have an independent, respected industry trade, rate Duplessis Builders, number 26 in the country when it comes to pool builders, what more do you need to hear? They'll build you a beautiful pool that will last. Start by going to DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Check them out online. It's DuplessisBuilders.net. For Duplessis Builders. DuplessisBuilders.net.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded. Because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Pearl Jam, and the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
This could be 2 in the game. Dickinson, Milam, and that's it. Tiger Town is Title Town again, as the boys bring the 8th World Series title back to the Bayou.
And that's how it sounded on ESPN television with Carl Ravitch on the call. And I think it's very fitting that Daniel Dickinson was a part of the final out there. The ground ball went to Dickinson, flipped to Milam, over to Jones. Because we learned in the postgame press conference from Jay Johnson a really good indication of why Danny Dickinson had been struggling offensively over the last, call it, 8 games. Give a listen.
Danny is probably the star, guy that we brought in, and the person just far exceeds the player. I mean, he's so competitive. He's been playing with a broken hand since the first game of the NCAA tournament. Listen to what I just said. He broke his hamate bone in the game. He hit 2 homers in the first game of the NCAA tournament and just got 5 hits in Omaha, and we went like 10-1. I mean, if that is not toughness, I don't know what is. So, massive hats off.
Oh, my God. Dickinson was playing with a broken hamate bone. Everybody famously knows that's the Warren Morris injury. The hamate bone is the one like right on the side of your hand. Like we've all seen the documentary and all the stuff. It's the one right there, like by your heel and the bottom of your hand. And I was talking about this with Terrio earlier today, and he goes, bro, like he mentioned Mike Fontenot had that injury. He said that feels like someone is just driving knives into your hand when you hit a bat or hit a ball with a bat. Like that. You want to know why? You want to know why Dickinson was bunting for singles and sacrificing like every time he got up? That's why. Dude couldn't swing the bat, and I wrote this down. Dickinson, so Jay said that he suffered the injury in the game against Little Rock where he hit the 2 homers. So it was the first Little Rock game. After that, Dickinson had 1 extra base hit the rest of the season. 33 at-bats, 1 extra base hit the rest of the season, and it was Wednesday against Arkansas when he doubled in the first inning. Dude was playing with a broken hand. Now, I don't know. I'm going to ask Jay when he's here if it was a left hand so I don't know if it was glove or throwing hand, because I don't know if that affects your ability to field or throw. I have no idea. I'll ask Jay when he's here in hour 3. But my goodness, can we please give this man some love? I mean, he's got a pro future, and scouts are watching and everything. You want to talk, like, this is the definition of what Jay talks about when he says, like, you come to LSU, you put the needs of team above self. And it's just the truth, man. A lot of guys go to college and they want to develop for the next level, and that's part of it at LSU, undeniably, but they're here to win. And Daniel Dickinson came here from Utah Valley with a chance to win a national championship and played the rest of the regional, super regionals, and Omaha with a broken freaking hand. Like, massive respect to that dude. Absolutely incredible to hear that story. Legends born, man. Legends born in Omaha always. Add to the lore. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Dr. Blake Williamson, huge LSU fan as well. Of course, his dad was an all-SEC tight end in the 1970s. But Dr. Blake Williamson he was hitting me up. He was hitting me up yesterday going like, what are we doing in pitchers? Poor, like he wanted to know all the scoop. But a huge LSU fan, and we appreciate Dr. Blake so much. Hey, listen, you want to see 2020, call 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. You can set up that consultation. You want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, or go to WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, y'all, we are wrapping up hour number 1. David Delucci joins us when we come back. And then again, a little more than an hour from now, Jay Johnson and Nate Yeskie will both be here in hour number 3. The Tigers have landed. The championship celebration is planned for Wednesday, and we're fired up for it. Talking a ton of baseball today. Remember, you can email us, tweet us, or text us if you want to jump in the show. You can do that. Text us at 225-396-4400. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
As we wrap up hour number 1, we'll remind you about South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. We, as I've explained to you before, are a Volkswagen family. Never was until 15 years ago. South Point wanted to do some advertising. I said, well, I want to drive all your vehicles. I've never driven a Volkswagen before. Went over, drove every different make that they had. Every different model that they had. And I was blown away. Style, feel, performance of luxury, the safety features. I remember walking with Mr. Bill Reinhart in the lot, and he was showing me just the structural integrity and how it's like welded together in different points, how it creates these safety features. It blew me away. It was 15 years ago, still so impressionable. But you get great engineering. You get great value. You get great performance, gas mileage, and you get a great price. It's South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com, South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Bayou Ford is taking $11,000 off MSRP with 4.9% for 60 months on the new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT, plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Shams Charania reports Pacers guard Tyrese Halliburton, as feared, has a torn right Achilles tendon.
Playing through a calf injury, played through an ankle issue. Clearly there was something going on in that calf, ankle, Achilles area throughout the NBA Finals that he's been playing through, he's been managing, he's been dealing with it. He really wanted to win a championship. He wanted to put his body on the line.
Shams Charania on the Pat McAfee Show. Halliburton had to leave Game 7 of the Finals in the first quarter. He'll have surgery soon and will likely miss all of next season. Shams also reports Chris Middleton of the Wizards picks up his player option for next year worth $33.3 million. He was traded from Milwaukee to Washington at the deadline. The Nuggets named Ben Tenzer as the team's executive VP of basketball operations and John Wallace as their new exec VP of player personnel. Kirsty Coventry is the new president of the International Olympic Committee. She'll officially take over for Thomas Bach tomorrow, the first woman and the first African to hold that title.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right. Woo!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt. Nope, that's not the right one. Don't worry about it. Let's just roll. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Jordan's in for Musso. I guess we're missing Musso, so we played Barbie Girl anyway. That is Musso's drop, not mine. David Delucci, SEC Network, good enough to join us for a couple minutes here. Luch, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. What an amazing week in Omaha. The LSU Tigers reached the pinnacle, adding their 8th national championship. They're going to have to get a bigger billboard for the Intimidator in right field, because I think this is going to be a consistent trend for this program in the years to come.
Yeah, Luch, the numbers keep getting smaller. the more you keep adding, they keep having to shrink the numbers for space purposes, but it's a good problem to have. You picked LSU at the start of the tournament to win the College World Series. We all have the benefit of hindsight now, but what did you see at the start of the tournament that made you confident that LSU would be the last team standing?
Yeah, it just felt like the top two pitchers that they had in Anderson and Ianson were so good, and most importantly, so consistent throughout the course of the year. Everyone was expecting them to have a letdown, and lo and behold, every time they went out there and towed the rubber, they topped the performances that they had before. And oftentimes when you have two aces, which we've labeled them 1A and 1B, not only do they compete against the other team, but they go out there and they kind of have a friendly rivalry with each other and compete with each other's performances. I saw that when I was with the Diamondbacks with Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling, and that's kind of how this year played out. And with the conditions that we had in Omaha, with the large field and the decrease in home runs this year, it turned into a pitcher's game, and the advantage went to LSU. And, I mean, they were dominant, absolutely dominant. And I just think of Ianson and what he did in his last start. Of the 7 innings, he retired the leadoff batter 5 times, and 6 of those leadoff batters he started with a strike. So Coastal Carolina started their ABs 0-1, and whenever you get the opposing pitchers in a hole like that, there's nothing they can do about it.
You had to bring up 0-1 Diamondbacks to me, really, Luch? Really? Come on, man. It's like, just pour salt in that one. You know what? On a day like this, Luch, I'll take it, man. Hey, there's a couple. I want to talk some big picture stuff with you, but a few things. I'd love your thoughts as a guy who played more than a decade of Major League Baseball and played your whole life on the ejection in the first inning.
You know, it's funny. I think about it. We discussed Kevin O'Sullivan's reactions in the Gainesville Regional, and here we are again with an outburst. It happens, right? And I don't think you should hold anybody to that incredible standard that was being discussed. You can't do it, man. The bottom line is you cannot abandon your team in a championship game early in the ball game. The rules are the rules. Granted, the umpire should have had a little longer leash, but that was a gross overreaction by Schnall and his first base coach, and it potentially cost them the national title.
In the first inning. Arguing balls and strikes in the first inning.
And look, they gave him a warning. I mean, he was warned, and he came out there anyway. Every coach knows you're not supposed to leave the dugout arguing balls and strikes. He did. They threw him out. He stayed with it. It was, and they gave him the second ejection. So it was just too much.
Luch, the other thing I wanted to ask and get your opinion on was what we learned after the series when Jay Johnson disclosed that Danny Dickinson's been playing with a broken hamate bone. I know you dealt with, you need to correct me if I'm wrong or clarify, Luch, but you told me this, a hand injury, something like, can you describe what it must have been like for Dickinson playing the last month with a broken bone in his hand?
Incredibly difficult. I had a degenerative bone in my left wrist that I played with for 11 seasons. And you want to talk about limit your capability of throwing a baseball and then also hitting whenever you make contact, the extreme pain that you have, the lack of range of motion in your hand. And in baseball, it's all about hand strength and wrist flexibility. For him to go out there, it was incredible. What he's been able to do with that injury, hats off to him. It's unbelievable. And to go out there and pull a Warren Morris and be able to bunt to help his team win just shows you what kind of player he is. He's willing to do whatever it takes to win.
It's so true. I mean, we talked about it a little bit, Luch. I mean, that's what Morris did a lot of that season in '96 coming back from that injury. It was like whatever he could do because you lack the power in the hand, which is crazy to learn that with the benefit of hindsight. David Delucci is with us here from the SEC Network. Luch has been with us all throughout the year here on these Mondays, recapping SEC weekend. So, of course, we do it here after LSU wins the national championship. Luch, if I asked you outside of the first two, the co-aces who were so good, a big maybe takeaway or something from this team that defined it that you'll remember.
Talented team, great chemistry, but they were grinders, man. They led the NCAA in the tournament with most runs scored with 2 outs. I mean, they were relentless. 43 of their runs, that's over 50% of their runs were scored with 2 outs. Other teams just could not close the inning on them. And then the pitchers were incredible. Stat was with the bases empty, opponent's batting average was 236 with men on. Opponent's batting average was 145. They got better as players got on the bases. So I can't tell you how impressed I was with the team's unwillingness to give up and to lay down. And I think the best example is Michael Braswell. He was not hitting well at all. I don't think he had a hit until the last AB.
Correct.
But yet he played impeccable defense, which actually won Game 1 of the championship series against Coastal. So everybody had their role to play. They played it well. They played it together. Even Jared Jones, who started the College World Series off with 5 strikeouts, it made the adjustment and became a huge factor in the Tigers winning a national title. So it was a total team effort and a great group of guys. Jay Johnson says he would love to coach forever.
I think we'd like to see guys like Anderson and Einstein stick around forever. That would be a very welcome thing. Luch, of course, everyone's going to turn the page to next year. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge for Jay Johnson and this staff? With you're going to have a lot of roster turnover, but, man, you're going to return – a wealth of arms and some young talent like Curiel and Milam and Fry should return as well. We'll see. Kate Aaron Beatty stepping up. But what do you think would be the biggest challenge for Jay Johnson next year?
look, let's not forget Case and Evans and most likely Chase Shore are going to be better than they were this year. I think that the challenge is always complacency, right? After you win a national title or a championship, are your guys going to work as hard in the future as they did last year? I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to be motivated to repeat, but I've always said it takes three things to win a national championship: talent, which LSU will have; luck, which LSU always finds during the course of the year; and health. That is my biggest concern, was they had a really good year health-wise where they didn't miss any large components to that roster, and I hope next year they can stay as healthy as they were this year.
That's a good point. Look, Texas and Texas A&M were two of the most talented teams in the country that were just besieged by injuries this year that really derailed them. Hey, one more thing. Actually, I was going to let you go, but since you brought it up, it was interesting. You all did win. You won the World Series with Arizona. You talked about the challenge of complacency and repeating. Do you remember what it was like in 2002 coming back after winning that championship?
Yeah, I remember. First of all, it was tough because we had a bullseye on our back. Everybody was gunning for the national champion. You've seen that with Tennessee after they won the national championship. Everybody's trying to take down the top team. And then also you look around and there's some pieces that were missing to that roster that got you that title. And LSU is going to look in that clubhouse when they go in there the first day of fall, and they're going to say, man, we're missing some big guys. Can we fill those shoes? And then there's a lot of pressure of the new guys coming in. You don't want Curiel to try to be a player that he's not, to feel the power of Jared Jones. And you don't want Stephen Milam to try to do something that he's not capable of. You have to replace those guys that you lost with very similar players so that guys can continue playing the game that has made them successful personally and successful for the team.
David Delucci, the SEC Network, good enough to join us every Monday here throughout the season. Luch, sincerely appreciate all the time you gave our audience throughout this year, man. Thanks so much. It's been fun. Hopefully we catch up to you down the road, man.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me on.
We appreciate it. David Delucci, it's After Further Review, Monday shows brought to you by Relief Windows. We'll knock out a quick break. I did ask Luch about it. I mentioned in hour one that I wanted to talk about it in detail because everyone has an opinion. I do want to talk about the ejection with Kevin Schnall getting run in the first inning. We'll do that next on AFR.
AFR.
Right about the Watermark and the Renaissance, two amazing hotel properties. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Of course, the Renaissance we talk about all the time. Southtown, that's what they call it right there on Bluebonnet near the interstate. Bluebonnet right across from Perkins Road in the Mall of Louisiana. You've seen Renaissance Baton Rouge, gorgeous, sprawling hotel with 13,000 square feet of meeting space. Whether you're there as a guest, staying in one of their luxury guest rooms with all the amenities, the workout facility, the great pool area, Tallulah, the restaurant right there inside the lobby of of Renaissance Baton Rouge, or if you got some type of event, Renaissance Baton Rouge would love to host you. It's easy. Call Allison Crump over there at Renaissance. She's the events coordinator, and she'll make everything spectacular, whether it's a wedding reception, maybe a fundraiser for your charitable endeavor, whatever it may be. They can host you over at Renaissance Baton Rouge. So call them today. It's Renaissance right there on Bluebonnet. Call today at Renaissance Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
LSU wins the national championship. Game 1 did not come and go, however, or Game 2, I should say, did not come and go, however, without a degree of controversy. In the first inning, as we all know now, Kevin Schnall was ejected for arguing balls and strikes, and there's been a lot of conversation about it. First of all, before I talk about the ejection and my opinion and all this stuff, I think there's one spot in the game where it might have mattered. Now, who's to say there weren't other spots, motivation, all that stuff? But again, the one spot where I think it mattered was in the fourth when LSU put together their 4-run inning. It was, if you remember the sequence, Stanfield gets the 2 RBI single, LSU's up 3-1. They are hitting Morrison at this point. He has not missed many bats. Then Dickinson bunts to get to Braswell, which admittedly, at the time, I was stunned that they bunted to get to Braswell, who hadn't had a hit in 8 games, and you sacrifice Dickinson to get to Braswell, who pops up on the infield. So there's 2 outs, and there's runners at second and third. It's 3-1. And in that situation, lineup flipping over, here's Curiel, second and third, LSU up 3-1, base it here, it's 5-1, and for all intents and purposes, it's over, considering Ianson, Shores, Evans, everyone available. I can't believe they let Morrison throw to Curiel. Tweeted at the time, that was the giant question. Would Schnall have made the pitching change there? Would it have made a difference? We'll never know, but that's my one question. Now, in the moment, I couldn't help but think of what happened on Saturday in Game 1. Saturday in Game 1, LSU was leading 1-0 and trying to grow the lead. And there was a point in the 8th where Dickinson gets hit on the elbow, and he's wearing the arm guard. And they ultimately rule him out because saying he leaned into the pitch, which you can't do. And I get the rule because the rule is in place to make sure wearing that armor, you're not diving over the plate and intentionally getting hit by pitches. It is intended to detract that behavior. They went to review. The review went against LSU. Jay Johnson was not pleased with it, and I don't blame him. But remember what Jay Johnson said after the game. Again, this was Game 1. This is what Jay Johnson said after Game 1 about that play.
Yeah, I mean, as far as after, you're not supposed to go out there after a review. So the umpire was correct, and I know that, and I knew that. I just wanted clarification the ball was clearly in the batter's box. I'm not sure what he was supposed to do. And it's a tough rule where you're rewarding the pitcher for throwing a ball in that case. And I thought he did make attempt to roll, but at that point, my team needs me to stay poised and focused and calm, and as they said, get to the next pitch, and that was that. So you're not allowed to, after a review, you're not allowed to go back out to the umpire.
My team needed me to stay poised and focused and calm. After a review, you're not allowed to go out to the umpire. Does Jay Johnson wish he could have gone out there and given him a piece of his mind? I'm sure he did, but he stayed back. Why? Even he said, I wanted an explanation, but he stayed back. Why? You got to stay in the game. My team needs me to stay poised and calm. Kevin Schnall did nothing of the sort. Yo, this was the first inning of a scoreless ball game. And he's arguing balls and strikes in the first inning of a scoreless ball game. This isn't 3-3, top 8, and you get squeezed on a pitch where you think you've been getting squeezed all game. And, like, if you have a problem, there's a way to do it. And the big issue that transpired here is the first base coach starts the engagement, and you can see the home plate umpire, Angel Campo, telling, like, the first base umpire or the first base coach, stop, 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 and then Schnall engages. And he comes out of the dugout, and he's giving him the 3. You know, you missed 3, you missed 3. And you're not supposed to come out of the dugout. And he's telling him, get back, get back, get back. He does it 3 times, get back. And then he keeps persisting, and he gets run. Like, yes, he should have gotten run. And I know what everybody is saying. Show, all that sort of stuff. You can't do it, not on that stage, too early in the game. This is a college head coach. Compare and contrast the approach that Jay Johnson took on Saturday, a night before, like 12 hours prior, or 15 hours, and what Kevin Schnall did in the first inning. Like, you're not arguing a safe out call and asking for a review. You're not arguing if there was interference in the base path or anything like that, coming out asking for clarification. He's arguing balls and strikes in the first inning. Like, what on earth are you doing? Think about the words Jay Johnson used. My team needed me to stay poised and composed. Kevin Schnall did the absolute opposite of that. He and the first base coach, both of them, were idiots in that situation. I'm not saying they're idiots. Please be clear. They're very good coaches, great team. In that moment, they lost their minds. They lost their composure, and they cost their team. Like, you've got to know in that situation what the rule is. And there's a lot of rules, by the way, I hate. I'm the guy who sits here in every sport and always tells you the same thing. Every umpire, official, referee, they're all bad at their job. And I believe they are. I think Angel Campo is bad at his job because it is impossible to be good. When you have human error mixed into these sports with freakish athletes doing superhuman feats that are so precise, and by the way, now in this age where we have 15 different camera angles with super slow-mo and super zoom, and we can see everything within a fraction of an inch, we expect them to be perfect real time, which is an impossible ask. So they're all bad at their job. And yeah, this dude had an ego. And yeah, he ran him. But this is also college baseball. This isn't Major League Baseball where you see dudes running out of the dugout kicking dirt on umpires. That never happens in college baseball. In 18 years at LSU, I think Skip Bertman got ran twice. That's like once a decade. Like, if you argue balls and strikes in college baseball, you are going to get run. Yeah, but it's a championship game. And that's why he gave the first base coach a warning and gave Schnall a warning and told him, get back, get back, get back. And he persisted. And guess what happens when he's saying, get back, get back, get back. And you persist, you're getting run. You can say it soft. You can say it's show, all that stuff. Then change the rule. It's the thing I say about all the time in college football with targeting. It's a horrible rule. We can all understand the spirit of the rule, but you're ejecting players from the game when there's no malicious intent. That's an awful rule. If you don't like this, okay, change the rule. Give the coach more leeway. They can come out and they can argue their case. Fine. But these aren't professionals. It's still college athletes who misplay fly balls off their shoulder in the most important game of their life. Like, God bless. It's still college baseball. It's high level, but it's still college baseball with young people. And Kevin Schnall knows the rule, just like Jay Johnson knew the rule on Saturday. You're not supposed to come out of the dugout to argue a review. Okay, he stayed in the dugout, so he stayed with his team, calm and poised and composed. Kevin Schnall was the opposite of that, and he deserved what he got. He absolutely deserved to get run. I don't care that it was what are you going to do? Oh, it's too early in the game. What are you going to do? You're going to let him keep doing it? You give him 3 warnings. The first base coach is being a jack leg. Now he's out of the dugout. You're just going to let him keep coming after you? For how long? How long does this persist? And by the way, it wasn't just them. It's the whole freaking team. The whole first inning. Morrison's out there eyeballing Josh Jordan, having issues with the pitch comm, taking out 4 different pitch comm devices. He's sitting there, cursing Josh Jordan as he's coming off the field. Tells the ump as well, he's seeing in my glove. Like, bro, then turn your glove if he's looking at your grip. It's gamesmanship. It's like, this is baseball. Baseball's been around for 150 years. There's gamesmanship in baseball. Yes, they're trying to steal your signs. If you're not trying to steal your signs, they're not trying. Now, you want to do it ethically, but I'm looking at to see if I can see your grip to get an edge. Of course I am. You got to, it was this whole moment for Coastal that was too big. It was so obvious that the moment of being in that ballpark after having won 26 in a row, thinking they were invincible, all of the hullabaloo about the comments made in the pregame, which I don't buy anything about that. We talked about it on Friday. I don't care. They said, nothing, they don't admire anything about LSU. It was totally overblown. Don't care. But when you play for a program that is not used to spotlight, and then all of a sudden the brightest lights on the biggest stage are shining directly on your face, some people crumble in that. Not just players, but coaches as well. And the moment swallowed up Kevin Schnall. And shame on him. He's the adult in the room. And then, after the game, Kevin Schnall has his post-game press conference, and the first question out the chute is obviously asking him about getting ejected. And oh, by the way, because he and Jack Legg, first base coach, carry on, they get run for the second game. So even if they had played Monday, both those dudes aren't out there for their team because they kept carrying on. And listen to Kevin Schnall in the postgame.
There's 25,000 people there, and I vaguely hear a warning issued. As the head coach, I was an assistant for 24 years, and as an assistant, you're almost treated like a second level citizen, and you can't say a word. Now, as a head coach, I think it is your right to get an explanation of why we got warned. And I'm 48 years old. I shouldn't get shooed by another grown man, right? So when I come out to ask what the warning is, a grown man shooed me. So at that point, I can now hear him say, it was a warning issued for arguing balls and strikes. And at that point, I said, because you missed 3.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, ejected.
Yeah.
If that warrants an ejection, I'm the first one to stand here like a man and apologize. 2 words that define our program are own it. And what does that mean is you have to own everything that you do without blame, without defending yourself, without excuses. If you guys watch the video, there was a guy that came in extremely aggressively.
This sounds like blame.
Tripped over Campos's foot, embarrassed in front of 25,000.
Sounds like defending yourself.
Immediately goes 2-game suspension.
Sounds like excuses.
And said, bumping the umpire.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately does that. There was no bump. He was embarrassed. I shouldn't be held accountable for a grown man's athleticism. He'll retract it, though, because now it's excessive. And the reason why it's excessive, because I was trying to say, I didn't bump him. It is what it is. But if that warranted an ejection, man, there'd be a lot of ejections. As an umpire, I feel like it's your job to manage the game, the national championship game, with some poise, some calmness, and a little bit of tolerance.
Poise, calmness, and tolerance. Something that the head coach from Coastal Carolina had none of in the moment. Do you understand the contradiction? He's saying poise, calmness, tolerance. He had none of that in that moment. And then he's sitting there saying our mantra is own it without blame, without excuses. And there he is giving blame and excuses. Like, he's a hypocrite. And like, let me rephrase that. That is hypocritical in that moment. Like, listen to him getting animated. And oh, by the way, he also said, he heard the warning. Warning, arguing ball. There's 25,000 people, and I faintly hear warning, arguing ball strike. You heard the warning, and then you said, yeah, because you missed 3. And you didn't calmly say, yeah, because you missed 3. We all watched it. You're throwing up 3. And he's saying, get back. And then he's got his feelings hurt because I'm 48 and a grown man shooed me. He completely lost his composure. A grown man shooed me. No, the umpire who's trying to maintain order in this game as you and your first base coach are arguing balls and strikes in the first inning of the national championship game won't stop. You persist. He's warned you, and you keep coming. You're getting run, dude. It ain't like you casually threw out looked like that might have been a little inside, and he ran you. Both of you jacklegs in that situation acted like idiots, and you got what you deserved, and you let your team down. You can shout ump show all you want, and I'm not anyone that's going to defend an umpire. Like, they're all bad at their job. You know the rule. You were warned. You persisted. And now you're in a post-game press conference because you got your feelings hurt because a grown man shooed you, and so you acted an ass and got run from the national championship game and let your team down. That's on Kevin Schnall and nobody else. You want to know the surest way not to get your ass ejected? Stay in the dugout. Stay in the dugout, and you don't get ejected, and you get to coach your team. Instead, you let your team down. I don't know anybody but Kevin Schnall. It's after further review.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out, O-N-E, 1hourbr.com. Cheryl Kirby sent this 5-star Google review. Said, I called 1 Hour Air around noon on a Sunday, because my AC wasn't cooling. They sent technician Brett Arnwent out to find the problem. After he found it, he explained to me what the issue was and what he was going to do to fix it. Now I'm sitting here in a nice, cool house. Thanks to Brett and 1 Hour Air. Great job. By the way, on a Sunday, what do I tell you all the time? At River City's 1 Hour Air, they work nights, holidays, weekends, and they don't charge you extra to come out nights, holidays, and weekends because when it's 100 degrees in Baton Rouge and your AC is broken, you need it fixed. They'll do it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
All right, rolling along with us here. Jay Johnson in 45 minutes. The champions are back home. Fired up for that. They will have the championship celebration on Wednesday, 7 p.m. over at Alec Box Stadium. I'm checking social media for some of the videos and pictures, stuff that's surfacing of the turnout with the champions landing back in Baton Rouge. They pulled up to the box around 3 o'clock. So they've been home for about an hour and a half. And again, the big championship celebration is set for Wednesday night, 7 p.m. out at Alec Box Stadium. And no doubt it'll be packed. And we'll look forward to being able to celebrate LSU's 8th national championship. I appreciate all the calls, texts, emails, tweets. You can join us. You can feel free. This one from Bradley said, Matt, give the man a break. There's a distinct difference between a coach down 0-1 playing for the second game of the championship against a chump umpire had to be part of the story. I don't like he's going through their salaries and whatnot. You can't tell me you see an umpire, can't use better discernment. Like, I think the umpire was completely justified. He look at what transpired and slowed and stopped the game. You know the rule. Stay in the dugout. You can't argue balls and strikes, and you can't come out of the dugout. He did both. Actually, both of them did. And then they persisted, even after they got run. Like, they were completely out of control. An umpire's job is to keep the game in, like, to keep order on the field. And Kevin Schnall did not support that. Like, no, I have no problem whatsoever with him being run. I don't. It's not just that it was the Coastal coach. Like, you know the rule. You can argue it's an awful rule. Okay, change it to where you get more leniency in those situations. But he warned the first base coach, warned Schnall, told him 3 times get back, and he persisted, kept coming out and saying, because you missed 3 demonstrably, you're gone. You're not allowed to argue balls and strikes. You're not allowed to leave the dugout. The assistant and the head coach argued, and he left the dugout. You're gone. That's what it is. That's the rule. This is still college baseball. What do you, in that situation, you let that go, then what happens? He persists. Come on, man. No, it was 100% the right decision to run him. And his behavior after the game only further underscores that. Talking about own it and then refusing to take any of the responsibility. Blaming an umpire's athleticism falling down and all this. Like, what a jack. Like, let me say it this way. The lights were shining too bright on a program that's not used to that. They had won 26 straight games. They certainly thought they were going to win the national championship. They lose the first game 1-0. Their season is on the line in that situation. It's a Sunday where there's 25,000 people, and I'm sure 24,800 of them are in purple and gold, and there's a little pocket of 200 fans wearing teal. They were completely overwhelmed, fighting for their season. And in the first inning, the first inning, he's out there arguing balls and strikes. In the first inning. I mean, it's the bottom of the first. His team is batting. They just stole a base. There's a runner on second. He just stole a base. There's a runner on second base. They're batting. And he disrupts the flow of the game. I mean, I don't know who else you got to hear from. I mean, David Delucci's a big leaguer, was here with us 40 minutes ago, said it was the right decision. I talked to Terrio earlier today. We put a video on the Paris Construction and Roofing social media. You can go look at it at Paris Built. Terrio basically said the same thing. I mean, what do you want? You just want to let coaches go nuts and leave the dugout and do the things they're not supposed to, just let it go? Just let it keep. Then at what point do you draw the line? 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 8 times? What is it? What's the line? That's why the umpires got to draw a line in the sand. Well, the coach has to know better. It's unbelievable to have adult people justifying the immature behavior of another adult human when literally the game before, Jay Johnson showed you what you do in that situation. You show restraint because you have to be there for your team. Kick rocks. All right. It's after further review. Hunt Palmer's done some awesome work for us over at LouisianaSports.net. If you haven't been following the coverage, God bless. When they left, Hunt left the Thursday before the College World Series started, and I said, "See you, Hunt." I said, "I hope I don't see you in 2 weeks." And sure enough, we're rolling up on 2 weeks without seeing Hunt. But he's done great work there at the College World Series. So, I think he just filed his last story for LouisianaSports.net, which is it's up right now if you want to check it out. And again, everything's free over at LouisianaSports.net. Oh, you can't see my screen. Can you pull it up? The last story, it's projecting the roster for next year. And obviously we're sort of gonna bathe in the afterglow of this championship this week, but there is obviously going to be part of the conversation that turns the page to next year and what that's kind of going to look like. And you're going to have some interesting conversations because there's players who are out of eligibility. And Hunt notes all this, like Josh Pearson, Michael Braswell, Luis Hernandez, Dalton Beck. They're gone because there's no more eligibility. And then the guys that are surefire going to be drafted. Cade Anderson, Anthony Ianson. I would assume Jacob Myers is going to be drafted and signed. Chase Shores. That could be an interesting decision to make. Because he took the redshirt year, he could still come back and have leverage, but it's certainly likely you're throwing 101. Everybody just saw what he did, that he's going to get a couple $1 million and probably sign. I would assume Jared Jones, Daniel Dickinson are going to be gone as well. But man, you are going to have a tremendous amount of talent coming back that we know of. I mean, you can start on the infield where you're going to return Stephen Milam on the infield. Cade Aaron Beatty's likely going to be your starting catcher. You're going to look in the outfield where Derek Curiel will be back. Jake Brown will be back. And the talent on the mound, starting with Evans and Williams and Rizzi and Schmidt and Devin Sheeran, who, if you've not been paying attention, has been tearing it up in summer league ball right now. You're going to have a great core to start with. And then you got some guys that are going to make decisions, but I'll tell you this much. You're going to have guys enter the portal that were in Omaha. It's just natural. They're with the team, but they're going to look for opportunities. I don't know. I don't have any inside information. I don't know. But you're going to have guys that choose to leave because it might be a draftable year. Again, I don't know anything, but I'll give you examples of guys who maybe have a decision to make. Tanner Reeves has a decision to make. Tanner Reeves came to LSU a year ago with an eye on being an everyday starting infielder. That was the plan. And then Michael Braswell went undrafted and returned for his senior year. That was not the plan. The plan was Braswell was going to get drafted and sign and go off to pro ball. Well, he didn't get drafted, and so he was back, which is great. I mean, you have an experienced infielder who became your everyday third baseman, was elite defensively despite the struggles offensively. We've talked about it plenty. But for Tanner Reeves, now you've got a guy there who, in his draft year, has to play every day. Like, he's got to go somewhere he can play every day. So do you stay at LSU and try to win a job, or do you go? Again, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. Same question for Ashton Larson. We would all love to see Ashton Larson back. He was fantastic last year as a freshman, but you brought in Stanfield, Jake Brown, Josh Pearson were back, Curry Ellenberg won a starting job, and it was just a numbers game. And so Larson just was the odd man out. Does he have a spot in the everyday lineup next year, or does he go somewhere where he can play? Think Paxton Kling. So Paxton Kling did. Very talented guy. You'd love to have Kling back. But he had to go somewhere where he was going to be in the lineup every day. And so he went to Penn State and had a fine season. And so sometimes, like, those are the decisions guys have to make. I'm going to tell you, a similar decision this year as Braswell a year ago is Chris Stanfield. Stanfield has another year of eligibility. If he gets drafted and signs, goes play pro ball, great. But what if he goes undrafted? And he's a borderline draftable prospect. He's got really good speed in the outfield, and certainly he can handle the bat and hit for average. But he doesn't hit for power, doesn't have a great arm. So a couple of those tools that you're looking at for as far as projectability aren't there. So what happens if Stanfield goes undrafted? Is he back? And if so, does that affect your ability to recruit in the portal or guys on the team now who may come back or leave? That's kind of going to be the evolution of this roster here in the next few weeks of the portal. And then we'll get into July, and we'll look at the draft and see how all that happens as we move to and through July. And there's Ethan Fry as well. You know, Ethan Fry, who had a monster year this year as a DH, but does he come back to show big league scouts he can play a position? And I don't know if that position's first base. Like, does Ethan Fry come back to play left field? Like, these are the kind of things that these guys are going to weigh as they start to build and mold the roster for 2026. But at its most basic level, you're starting with an incredible core of players when you're talking about Stephen Milam coming back and Derek Curiel and Jake Brown and Kaysen Evans. You're Maverick Rizzi, Cooper Williams, Devin Sheeran. You got a great core that you're starting with for 2026. All right, it's after further review. Again, Jay Johnson's going to be with us here in about 30 minutes. Nate Yeskie will be here in about 45 minutes. We're excited to have both those coaches on a super busy day, willing to give us and you all, the audience, a few minutes of their time. So we're grateful for that. We'll do that as we continue. It is after further review. We're brought to you by Evermore, EVA-MOR. Drink Evermore, EVA-MOR, evermore.com. If you want to order online, you can pick up Evermore at great local retailers. Again, better form of hydration, especially with this heat. Make sure you're staying hydrated. A Louisiana product, a healthier alternative. I was encouraging, man, buy those 64-ounce bottles, fill up your Keurig with that. Just purge. Make sure you're purging tap water out of your life. If you're drinking tap water, at least make sure you're filtering it. But if you want a better alternative, drink Evermore. EVA-MOR, evermore.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break here of hour number 2. We'll do Tigers and the Pros. Hour 3, staring us straight in the face. Don't you move. It's AFR.
After further review.
Real estate market and fuego. If you are thinking about selling your home, you need the best. You need Darren James. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Remember, when you work with Darren, he guarantees he's going to sell your home. Darren's got his guaranteed sales program. It's easy. Sit down with Darren, agree to a price and a deadline. If Darren doesn't sell your home at that price by that deadline, he'll have your home bought with cash, or he'll sell it absolutely free, no questions asked. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. How about this gorgeous home that's just 5 hours ago just listed for sale? Greenwell Springs, Port Hudson Road in Zachary. Beautiful, 2,500 square feet of living, 4 beds, 3 bath, gorgeous with a pool. I mean, look at that brick on the interior, gorgeous hardwood. You can find it all right now at agent225.com. That's agent225.com. If you're thinking of selling your home, you need the best. You need Darren James.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Bayou Ford is taking $11,000 off MSRP with 4.9% for 60 months on the new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT, plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team...
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Got a message on the text line. Remember, you can always text us 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400, saying, can you compare the TV ratings for this final against 2023? We don't have the final numbers yet for this year, but in 2023, the LSU Florida championship averaged 2.86 million viewers. That was a record 2 years ago, and it was up 75% from the final the year before, where Ole Miss won the national championship. So most notably, LSU is a giant draw. So when LSU is in the finals, you're going to do a big number when LSU's playing. I mean, that's why, look, we knew that whenever the field was set, that first weekend, that LSU was going to be playing the night game on Saturday, just like they did 2 years ago when they played Tennessee in that first game of the College World Series. So if ESPN can, they're going to put LSU in primetime. It's just because LSU baseball is going to draw. It's just going to do a number that any other program wouldn't be able to do. Now, what will be interesting is, of course, 2 years ago, it was two big boy programs with LSU and Florida. And while people say they love the underdog, they don't back that up with their behavior. A couple of years ago, when the men's Final Four had San Diego State and FAU, I mean, it was a horribly rated Final Four. People say they cheer for the underdog. They want the Blue Bloods. Like, you want the Lakers and the Celtics. People want the Patriots and the Cowboys. They want the Chiefs and the Eagles. Like, they want brand names when it comes to championships. You could say you don't, but your behavior maps to it. It's what people watch and what people want. So we'll wait and see what happens here, because while LSU was in it, Coastal is just not a draw. I mean, they had 200 people in the stands. So that's not a storyline that's going to be appealing to bring a lot of people in. We'll see if LSU was able to carry the finals, but we'll wait and see what the ratings were. Again, 2 years ago, LSU and Florida set a record with 2.86 million viewers. We are brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Y'all, thrill her with a gift in the red box. Whenever you walk into Lee Michaels, you're going there to do something special, to buy something special for someone special. And these are beautiful pieces that will be in your family forever. They'll be passed down for generations. So they take great care at Lee Michaels to make sure you're comfortable walking through the door. You're comfortable with your purchase, no matter your budget. 9 locations in all, 2 in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's after further review. 2 hours in the books, and we are thrilled to have you with us here as LSU basking in the afterglow of National Championship number 8 for the program. Jay Johnson's here in 20 minutes. Nate Yeskie next hour as well. Sports Center is next.
After further review.
Brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. That's me and Terrio and Richard Tilley and Joe Morales and Trent Davis, our great staff. Tell you all the time, we are local. We are in Louisiana. We have roots in Louisiana, and we are proud to help. We are the first certified fortified roofing company in the state of Louisiana. So if you want to learn more about fortified, we could certainly help you with that. And we love to give away cash. That's right. We're doing our $10,000 cash giveaway. You go to parishbuilt.com. It's easy. All you got to do is sign up for a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. No purchase necessary, nothing like that. All you have to do is sign up for a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Let us come inspect your roof. That's it. And you're automatically entered to win $10,000 cash. So go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Fill out that form right there on the homepage and enter to win $10,000 courtesy of Parish Construction and Roofing. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. It's now confirmed. ESPN's Shams Charania reports Pacers point guard Tyrese Halliburton tore his right Achilles in the first quarter of Game 7 against the Thunder. He'll have surgery soon and likely miss all of next season. As for the newly minted champs, ESPN's Brian Windhurst says the Thunder could be ready for a long run of success.
Even if the Thunder lose some of these role players, even if they can't keep, and I'm not going to speculate who they may or may not, because of the 15 first-round picks. I mean, guys, they have the 15th pick in this draft on Wednesday. I mean, who knows? Maybe they draft a guy there that ends up being really great for them. Maybe they don't. They got 14 more first-round picks in the next 7 years.
Brian Windhurst on First Take. The Thunder are the early favorites to win the title again next year. They're plus 220 on ESPN Bet. A groundbreaking ceremony today on the Las Vegas Strip for the A's new $1.75 billion stadium. It's scheduled to open in 2028. Until then, the team is playing its home games at a minor league ballpark in West Sacramento.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Woo!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Jordan Kitchens, who doesn't have a drop. I don't know. What drop do you want, Jordan? What drop do you want, Jordan? I don't know. Last time I asked a producer what drop they want, and he didn't give me an answer. That's how we landed on Barbie Girl with Musso. So I could find something equally as embarrassing for you.
We can get like a Michael Jordan, coming off the bench or something. Flu game. That's what I'm going to look into.
But that's not a drop. There's no drop there.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Tigers are national champions. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. LSU number 8. The champs arrived back in Baton Rouge at campus about 2 hours ago. The championship celebration will be Wednesday, out at the box, 7 p.m. As we get more details, we'll certainly pass it along. Jay Johnson is set to join us here in 12 minutes from right now. We're just super grateful to Coach for his willingness to take the call on a massively busy day when he gets pulled in a lot of directions. And actually, Nate Yeskie will be with us here in about 30 minutes from right now. So we'll go LSU's head coach and pitching coach back-to-back here in hour number 3, and we're thrilled for that. I was watching the game, and I did a post-game live stream on my Locked on LSU show. So if you don't subscribe to Locked on LSU podcast or YouTube, I'd appreciate it if you did. And I told the audience that was watching I would stay there for as long as they did. We ended up doing about a 2.5-hour show, and I found myself at the end, honestly, getting a little emotional, which was surprising. I'm not necessarily like a really emotional guy. I'm emotional in the sense that like I yell and scream and get angry, that kind of emotion. But yesterday was an interesting day for me, man. I couldn't help but sit back and think about how lucky I am, and I don't mean to wax poetic, and this might be corny to some of you, so I apologize if it is. But I thought of it like mostly I went down this road because Skip Bertman was there. And I love the relationship that Skip Bertman and Jay Johnson have. And the respect that and reverence and friendship that they have. I think that's awesome. Spanning generations like that is just so cool. As a matter of fact, after the game, Jay Johnson was asked, this is actually how it wrapped up his post-game press conference. He was asked about Skip being there, and this is what he said.
But it was still like, it caught me off guard for a second, and I was like, oh, we're winning today. Like,
the man with the magic is in the house. And then he started talking like what we were going to do for the celebration. I was like, Coach, this is a pretty good team that hadn't lost in 2 months, so we got to try to figure out to beat. But he's the best, and I think it's so awesome that he's here and he got to share in this championship game.
We missed the beginning of the cut, which is actually the best part. He said the best part of the job is the relationship that he has with Skip Bertman. He called him his best friend, which is so cool. But, I think, baseball is it's just a different game, y'all. It's a game that feels somewhat timeless. It's a game that's shared between fathers and sons. And it's a game that I think, in this program in particular, that, baseball is romantic. It is a romantic game. It's America's pastime. It's popcorn at the ballpark. It's the crack of the bat, the pop of the mitt, the smell of the grass. It's all of those things. And it's a game that is largely shared between fathers and sons. It's not to say that fathers and daughters or mothers and daughters don't love baseball. I'm giving you a personal experience. And I was tying all this together, and a lot of it maybe because Skip lost Miss Sandy earlier this year, and it's almost this father-son, like I know Skip always refers to his players as his boys. That's something he's said many years, and of course Skip and Sandy had daughters. That's not to say that anything about not having a biological child. Don't misunderstand me in that respect. But there's just something familial about the whole relationship that I admire and love to see. And I just thought about what this baseball program has meant to me and my family over the years. I know I've told you all just from being being a kid when we moved from New Orleans to Baton Rouge in 1989, football was beginning their 6 consecutive losing seasons. And, Shaq and Chris Jackson and Stanley Roberts and Dale Brown in basketball were at the forefront, and Skip was building a monster in baseball. And, I like, a friend reminded me of the scene in City Slickers earlier today. If you've never seen City Slickers, this will be lost on you, but Billy Crystal and they're all sitting there, and the lady's like, I don't know how y'all remember all these players. Like, how do you remember who the third baseman for the Pirates was in 1960? And like in unison, they go, Don Hope. It's like that's baseball. Like, I still remember the starting nine for the 1991 National Championship team. Gary Email caught, was awesome in that College World Series in 1991, and Johnny Telechia and Tookie Johnson, Andy Sheets, Chris Mook at third, Mouton, Rios, and Cordani in the outfield, Chad OJ, Paul Bird, Rick Green. It was an awesome team. Like, it's the first team that I loved, like my team, that I got to watch win a championship. Before LSU football won a championship, y'all know I'm a Yankee fan. You can hold it against me if you want, but the Yankees stunk when I was a kid. Like, they weren't good. So watching LSU baseball in 91 win a championship was amazing. And so I started thinking about that. In 93, I remember where I was watching the 93 championship. I had KC camp, and my parents picked me up and went home, and I watched the 93 championship, and Brett Laxton struck out 16 Wichita State hitters, and LSU won 8-0. Harry Barrios caught the ball in right field for the last out. Morris and then Doug Thompson strike out in 97. Danny Higgins led off that 97 championship game with a home run. He was the leadoff hitter and the DH. I just have so much love for this program, and have my entire life. For like as long as I can remember living and loving sports, I've loved this program. And they all hit a little differently, but that one yesterday was just a kind of feeling where I saw the relationship with Skip and Jay, which was awesome. And then, I'm a dad and have a son, and it just had a lot of feels watching this one for whatever reason, and they're all different. They're all different and amazing for different reasons. 2 years ago, you broke a 14-year drought, which around here feels like an eternity when you won 5 and 10 years. The 9-year drought when Paul Maneri broke through felt long. 14 years after that felt almost impossible. But now to have it happen twice in 3 years, and Jay Johnson has done something that no one in the history of the sport has done. He's won 2 titles within his first 4 years at a school. That's never happened. The previous record was 2 titles in the first 8 years. So he's literally halved that number. And there's no reason to believe there's any end in sight, because he is so pot committed to this program in every way. that you just keep wondering how many more. And the challenge to build toward the next one. You enjoy this one, and the challenge to build toward the next one is exciting too. So really, really exciting to see this one on Sunday, how it all went down. That Coach Bertman got to be in attendance was fantastic, and enjoying basking in the afterglow of all of it, as I'm sure is Jay Johnson, who is going to join us when we come back. It is After Further Review. We appreciate so much our friends at Our Lady of the Lake, who've been a great partner of ours here on After Further Review. And, of course, Our Lady of the Lake is a great partner of LSU Athletics as well. They're the official healthcare provider and the championship healthcare partner of LSU Athletics. So not only do they care for the players, which is awesome, that they're there caring for the players, but same care that they extend to the players or extended to you and me and everyone. It's Our Lady of the Lake, and it's champions caring for champions. Our Lady of the Lake congratulates the LSU baseball team on their incredible College World Series win. Our Lady of the Lake Health is proud to be standing with LSU as their championship health partner. LSU and Our Lady of the Lake. Together, we roar. Okay, it's After Further Review. We're going to knock out a break, come back, and Jay Johnson will be with us. We're excited to talk to the coach, two-time national champion, Jay Johnson, when we return here on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. You can visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Remember, lowest prices, never any contracts. That's important. Let me say that again. Lowest prices, never any contracts. Because there's a lot of places that'll sell you testosterone therapy. There's a lot of places that can sell you BPC 157 and NAD plus therapy, or if you need ED treatments, there's a lot of places. Lowest prices, never any contracts. So you have nothing to lose. You're not worried about getting locked into anything long-term. What I would encourage you to do is, no matter what's going on in your life, if you want to feel better, it's worth going and sitting and having a consultation at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Take that first step. Like, just have the courage to make the call, to set the appointment, to go have a visit and learn about what options are there for you. Life was meant to be vital. So go regain your vitality. Yourgoodwood.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority.
It's our purpose.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Literally the best part of me being the head coach at LSU.
Back here and after further review, LSU for the 8th time, the national champions of college baseball, 2nd time in 4 years under Jay Johnson, who's good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Coach, our congratulations. Thank you sincerely for the time. How are you doing today?
Exactly how you'd expect. I'm doing awesome.
I figured as much.
Very proud of our team.
Coach, I know you're just inundated. I'm sincerely grateful whenever you do take time to come on, and especially on a day like this. So sincerely, thank you. 2 years ago, you did the same thing. You came on the show the day after you won it. You kind of relayed a story about maybe sneaking into Charles Schwab Field and sitting in the dugout and just taking it all in. Was there a similar visit today?
Oh, yeah. Even better one. Actually, and the reason is I actually got some sleep last night because it was a day game where last time it was a night game. So, yeah, woke up at 6, just put my walking shoes on, walked over to the ballpark, and snuck in through the loading dock and right into the first base dugout and out onto the field. And just kind of my deal, just time for some gratitude for being the coach at LSU, these players, our fans, and really wanted to give them a massive hat tip. It was awesome in the post-game celebration. They're playing our winning song in that big stadium, and the whole crowd singing along with it. It's like it doesn't get any better than that.
What is the first quiet moment like? Whenever and wherever that is.
Yeah, the best one is going back to the hotel, and you're in the midst of chaos, which, as you know, when LSU wins a championship, the fans can bring and create chaos, the best kind you could possibly dream about. But then it's like, hey, we have to talk as a team, and then we kind of snuck back into the meeting room, and I just told them what it meant to me, and it wouldn't have changed how I felt about them in terms of whether we won these last 2 games or not. But you know the deal. If you win it, you go down as forever. And I felt like these guys were worthy of that with how they handled this entire season. And I really wanted them to have that. And I wanted them to know that they accomplished that. And that was awesome. And then just getting back up to my room and, somebody put the trophy on my table, I just stared at, and I was like, kind of sweet, man. It's pretty awesome.
When you experience it for the first time 2 years ago, and I would imagine there was sort of a lifetime of, man, I wonder how that's going to feel, and then you feel it. And now you do it for a second time. How does it compare or contrast?
Yeah, they were very different. I will be honest. We were up 18-4 on Florida in the 9th inning. And it didn't hit me even that we were going to win it until Jordan Thompson made an unbelievable play for the first out in the 9th. And then I just got flooded with emotion. We did it. We're going to do it. And, I had the one experience where we were a base hit away in 2016 at Arizona and we didn't win and lost 2 one-run games in the finals. And so it was also a personal, 7-year journey back to that game and that time. And it was super emotional at the end of that one. And then this one, a little bit different. The tying run was at the plate. I got 2 guys fired in the bullpen. The top of their order, the leadoff hitter was on deck. And I'm thinking okay, if I make the move, where am I going to make the move? Is the defense set? Have we adjusted because Chase Shores is on the mound? I'm looking at the signal of what pitch we're calling. And then we turn a double play and we're national champions. So it was kind of it was 2 completely different experiences in the moment. And then, the time on the field immediately after the game is special, and it was awesome. And you're just looking around, and I'm looking at Chris Stanfield in the face, and Luis Hernandez and Danny Dickinson, and the guys that have been here for 3 years. You know, even Gavin Guidry didn't throw a pitch, but Chase Shores, Jared Jones. I mean, it was the best. It's the best days of my life is what I would say are the best times of my life, getting to do that, and just a lot of gratitude for this team, and 2 completely different experiences of how to win it, and it was almost awesome that it was so different.
I could literally ask you about every player, and I know you would give a story and an anecdote. I don't have time for that here, obviously. The time will come for that. But I do want to ask you about Dickinson, because you disclosed after the game that he has a broken hamate bone, which is insane, by the way. Can you please give us some context on how that happened and the decision that he made to play through that, which, again, everyone in this who loves this program, Jay, knows, because this was the Warren Morris injury. Like, this is insane that he played the postseason with a broken hand.
Yeah, amazing, actually. I've had 2 players do this, and one of them got hurt in the 5th week of the season and never returned the entire season, and this dude broke it in the game. He hit 2 home runs, by the way, against Little Rock, and never missed a game. He didn't say anything about it the next day, the 12-0 win against Dallas Baptist. And the next morning, the game we lost to Little Rock, he came in. It's like, my hand's broken. It really, really hurts. But as long as you think I'm better than whatever the next option is, I will give you everything that I have. And we manipulated some things amazingly to where nobody knew. You know, we hit him down in the order, and I kept kind of creeping him down, and I'm sure the coaches were like going, "Thank you, like this is a really good hitter. You're bumping all the way down to the 8 hole." We bunted where we could, and maybe the biggest base hit of the tournament was the bunt single in the first game against Arkansas, with first and second one out, and somehow he found a way to get 5 hits in 5 games in Omaha. And that's all toughness. I mean, he's awesome. Like, when I think about the types of guys I want in LSU baseball uniforms, like Danny Dickens right at the front of that.
It explains so much about the last month. Like, when we finally get that info. I mean, just yesterday, bunting him in the 4th before Braswell came up in that spot. It was just an interesting, but it makes so much sense.
Yes.
With context. Jay Johnson's with us. I'm not going to take much more of your time, Coach. I know it's busy. But you've also talked about, and you did it in one of your post-game press conferences, the games run together in Omaha, as I'm sure they do for you too. But you talked about this team's like sort of ability to not get too high, too low, overcome adversity. I forget the exact word you used. But you also mentioned in your post-game press conference that, like, I think you pointed out Kendall Rogers when they had you like preseason number 3, and you're like, are you sure? At some point in the season, you had to know, like, they had it, and it was going to work and be really good. Is there a point where you can identify when you knew this team had whatever that is?
Yeah, it's actually earlier than maybe you would think. So we lost game 2 of a 3-game series to Omaha, and it was a doubleheader because we moved it up to be a doubleheader because we were getting rain the next day. And I walked in and I said something to them like, "Hey, you know, one of the best players I ever coached," he said something to me. He said, you'll know what you have after you lose the first game in terms of how they respond. And I kind of threw that challenge on the team. And from that loss, we won 17 games in a row and did it in rather convincing fashion. In most games, we did it in comeback fashion. And we had so many guys contributing to it. I would say probably during that time, this team built an immense amount of confidence. And whenever it got hard, so to speak, they just seemed to get a little harder and found their way through. And, you know, you take a lot of pride when you win close games. And this is one of the best teams I've ever coached at winning close games.
Why? Last thing for you. I know you've said this so many times, like you wouldn't leave this job for the Yankees. Why do you love this job so much?
You know, I think it's twofold. You know, we can recruit the caliber of player that I can legitimately help them achieve their dream of being a major league player. And if you do that with enough guys, it manifests itself into you getting an opportunity to live your dream, which, you know, was to play in Omaha, and been fortunate now to do that 4 times and 2 times here. And the 2 times here, we have 2 national championships. And, you know, it's kind of like at this time in my life, like that's the place I want to be, like my spot in the world. And just very grateful and thankful. And the other part I would say is the care level of so many people about what you do, at least in college baseball, it only exists at LSU. I mean, I had one of my best friends is in a similar position in sports media like you have. He's been in San Diego. He's in Chicago now. And he would always call college baseball a channel changer as far as you guys. Well, it's not in Baton Rouge. And I'm really thankful for that because I do think what we do is important. We got great players that are better people, and they deserve the support. Everybody's always going to get behind LSU. This 2025 team was a team that definitely warranted and deserved that support, and I'm super proud of them for that.
You've embraced an exponential expectation, and somehow you've matched or continue to surpass it. Congratulations again. I know what today is like, so sincerely thank you for the 10 minutes you gave us.
You got it. Thanks, Matt.
It's our pleasure. Jay Johnson, 2-time national champion. And I love that when he comes on the show, he will be introspective. Like, he will give you real answers. I love that. I could listen to him talk all day. It's no wonder why he's an awesome recruiter. So, Jay Johnson, good enough to join us. Nate Yeskie, actually, probably right down the hall from wherever Jay Johnson is right now, is going to join us when we come back. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. It's easy. Kill mold, remove odor. Your home, your office building, no matter where it is, your car. Maybe you bought a used car that has pet odor or sweat odor or body odor or any type of odor. Call Paris. They can dry fog your car, knock out that odor, or your home, or any size commercial building. If you got mold, other harmful pathogens, maybe someone's sick, a virus going around, let Parrish come in, spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. It's easy. They'll knock it out. Lickety split. It's more cost-effective. It's more effective and more efficient. It's Parish Restoration. Parishrestoration.com. Parishrestoration.com. Okay, it is after further review. Our Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. I got to knock out a quick break. Thank you sincerely to Jay Johnson for joining us for a couple of minutes. We'll break. We'll come back, and we'll talk to Nate Yeskie, now a national champ at 2 different schools, Oregon State and LSU. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hey, if you are thinking of hiring, if you're needing to hire the right people, you need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions, and we say it that way because at Glow Resources, they work for you, the employer. This isn't a temp staffing agency. They want to help you find permanent employee solutions. So whatever job it is in your organization, if it's skilled blue-collar labor, if it's C-level management, if it's anything on that sliding scale in between, Glow Resources can help. And home base is Baton Rouge, Louisiana, y'all. They have now offices in Miami, in Orlando, in Houston, and in Mississippi, and in Baton Rouge, New Orleans. And they place people in jobs all over the world. But home base is right here in Baton Rouge. Corporate headquarters right there on Perkins Road near Pennington. You need to be more efficient by having the right people in your organization. Glow Resources will help find them. So check them out online. Start today. GLO. glowresources.com.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and 7 have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
For the 8th time, LSU, college baseball's national champion. A massive part of the evolution of this season was clearly the pitching staff, which led the nation in strikeouts, and dudes just throwing the pill in Omaha. It was incredible to watch. And, of course, Nate Yeskie is LSU's pitching coach who oversees that staff, and he is good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Coach, I know it's a tremendously busy day, and I can't thank you enough for grabbing the phone call and spending a few minutes with us. How are you?
Pretty good.
It feels like a dumb question to ask on this day, but one nonetheless. This is kind of old hat. You've won a national championship before. You've been to Omaha with 4 different programs. How does this one compare to the previous visits?
I suppose it's like having a couple different kids in your family, so to speak, because you love them all the same. They're all unique and different in their own way, and certainly very happy for our fans and this group of kids that really put forth a lot of work, a lot of effort, and dealt with some adversity at certain points of the season, which every team's going to. But I feel like they played their best brand of baseball down the stretch, and some teams challenged us, and that's good, and that's probably what makes it a little more gratifying on top of it.
I think one of the most compelling storylines of this season is the growth and development and progression of a lot of the guys in your staff. And you got to start with Cade Anderson. Coach, this was a guy who in conference play a year ago had an ERA north of 20, and now he's probably going to be the first pick in the draft. How in the world did that evolution happen?
Well, it's the challenge, and I would compare it to, I would say, football in the SEC. A lot of times you're not going to see a freshman get under center and be able to just sling it around the field and be on a Heisman watch list or winning a Heisman. And there's a lot of complexities that go with it. And there's lots of guys in other dugouts that are good at their job, and they're going to set their lineups and do some things. And a lot of times when you're a freshman, you're going up, especially in this day and age where kids are getting a fifth year, in some cases 6 years. Heck, there was a young man that Coach Johnson and I had recruited, I believe it was at Arizona, that was in maybe his 6th or 7th year of college baseball, and that was this year. So to put it in perspective, when you're 18, most kids are coming out of high school. When you're 24, 25, you should be in AA. And that's just not the case anymore in college athletics. So it's a challenge physically, it's a challenge mentally, it's a challenge emotionally. And Cade was up to the task. And I think we saw that based on his performance, but you knew it was coming at some point based on how he went about his business. You knew, because you can, again, using football, you stand on the sideline, you see a guy zip the ball out of his hand, and you're like, as soon as he learns how to read the safeties, this guy's going to have it figured out, and pass protection, whatever it may be. And in Cade's sense. It was just getting a better sense of reading swings, understanding things, and he and I would communicate a lot of times just in game with a look, and he would recognize some of the things that we discussed. And once he started recognizing those things, it was just a matter of almost getting the heck out of his way and just let him go compete.
You know, Coach, the performance in the finals is one that, like, it's only been matched by one other guy in the history of this program in the College World Series, Brett Laxton in '93, a complete game shutout. We'll talk about it literally for as long as they play baseball at LSU. Through your eyes, what worked so well, and did you know, like, did you have a sense before the game it was going to go like that?
No, I thought he was spraying it a little bit. He's even in the bullpen, and I thought, okay, you know, he'll reel it in at some point, and he did there for a bit. But you know, that's the blessing of having stuff. It's the blessing of having 4 pitches, and at times when they started to adjust, he would go on to something else that was working for him. I mean, he struck guys out with the changeup, the curveball, the slider, the fastball, and he was seemingly just enough ahead of each guy to be able to really get himself where he needed to and pick up the victory. And at times when he really needed to make a pitch, he made the pitch. And I think that's a quality that you see in guys that are winners in this sport in particular, because sometimes you might not be very good early in the count, but late in the count when it matters, if you can buckle down and make it. And I thought even Anthony did that to some degree yesterday as well. So, you know, Brett Laxton's performance, I watched that when I was in high school and thought, man, it's oof. So I'm aware of what that looks like, and was fortunate enough to be in the dugout when another young man had done something similar some years ago. So it's just, I don't know if you can ever predict those things. You just kind of watch it unfold, and our guys, they certainly enjoy playing behind Cade. And when he's got the ball, we feel like we've got a chance to beat anybody.
What was the one you were in the dugout for?
In 2018, we had a young man throw a 2-hit shutout in Game 3 of the finals.
Yep.
So it's just great to be a part of that and watch those kids do the things that they do. So it's very enjoyable.
That was the 2018 national champion Oregon State team, a fantastic team. And as is this one. That's now in that rarefied air, 8 national championships at LSU. I'm curious, what did it look like through your perspective, the ground ball double play for Chase Shores to get the final outs? What do you remember?
You know, my wife and I were just talking about it, and I said it was like he was the gas that was being poured on the flames of our fan base, because it seemed like as each fastball kind of ripped through the zone and he was landing the breaking ball and punching guys out, it was like they just kept turning the volume up and get it going. And I really thought there at the end, like, he was doing such a good job of pressing the ball with quality pitches in the bottom of the strike zone. When you're doing that, you're one pitch away from it. And I had leaned over to Cade Anderson beforehand because he was doing the chart. And I said, you know, a double play would be nice to end this thing. And I started thinking to myself, I would like it to be 4-6-3 because I just feel like it plays better between those two guys in that direction. I wasn't going to be picky. I really didn't care. But when it was hit out of the hand, you know, when it was put in play and it was turned, I kind of blacked out for a minute. I turned around and I couldn't find anybody to celebrate with, and Bill Franques was standing there, and I think I scared the daylights out of him because I grabbed him and bear hugged him, and I said, you know what, this is the best guy that I can find right now, so you're getting it, buddy. And he had shared with me, he said, you know, this is probably the best, you know, portion of the celebration that he was able to enjoy, because, you know, each one of them is different in his mind, but I don't know that he's been in the trenches in that capacity. His role is different. Sometimes he's probably up in the press box, but you know, he's been here for all of them, and certainly just the perspective that he provides. I enjoy talking with him, but then obviously you find Jay and the rest of the staff and the players, and it's one of those things that you want to be able to slow it down. And that's the hard part when you're going into the ninth that people may not understand, is you're sitting there wanting that double play ball, but you're also wanting to pause, because you're never going to see that team play together again. And so it's really, you know, just kind of crazy when you're putting all of those things through your mind. Like, you want to see him play, you want to see him succeed, but you also don't want it to end. You know, it was a storybook ending for these kids, and one that they definitely earned.
What was it about this team that makes you feel that way about them? Because I imagine that's not true for every team you've ever coached.
No, what's interesting is, like, when they needed to when they were challenged, they almost played better. When it seemed like it was a little bit tougher, and I don't want to use the term backs against the wall. I mean, you're going to be challenged every time you go out there, and you can frame it however you wish, but it almost seemed like as the games got bigger and more was expected of them, they performed to that level and potentially even more. And that's what was crazy. Somebody told me on the plane ride home, they said, you realize we only used 3 guys this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even, it hadn't crossed my mind. And the fact that we grinded out at bats, Braswell, I mean, you can't speak enough, not only about his play at third base, but how about Luis behind the plate?
Yeah.
Stanfield tracking down balls, and left field's not easy to play in that ballpark by any means. So, guys around the diamond just doing what they did. And really, I don't feel like there was any tension in the dugout or nerves. The guys were pretty loose the whole time, and it just, I think when you can go in there relaxed and you can play well, they took great instruction. I felt like Jay had a good plan for what he wanted to do on the offensive side. We would talk about some of the things he wanted to do on the pitching side, and it all just played out. So, it made it enjoyable. And man, again, the fans, like the support for those kids coming out of the hotel each day and coming back, and even just the bus rides down the field, like it was just littered with LSU fans everywhere. And it's just, I've seen it from the other side, so I'm glad to have seen it from this side now. So I can say that it's really a lot more enjoyable wearing the purple and gold.
Nate Yeskie's with us here for a couple more minutes. Coach, when you left the ballpark, what was last night like for you, for your family when you got back to the hotel?
It's almost like crossing the finish line to a degree. Just we know what each 12-month window looks like, and we're kind of on the start of a new one here today.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little tough. My family has traveled to this event every year that I've been fortunate enough to be here, and losing my dad earlier this year was tough. And he would love being here. He would love seeing other family members and just being at the ballpark and being able to talk to fans and just enjoy it. I mean, I grew up on the baseball field, and being around him and my grandfather, who both enjoyed it, it was bittersweet being out in front of the statue out front where we were able to do things. And I looked over at the seats where they would sit the year that we won it, and the space where they would be at other times when we were playing. So that was a tough pill to swallow. I'm sure they had better seats at this time to be able to watch, but at the same time, I mean, it was great. My daughter is getting older. She's much more in tune with what's going on than the first time or second time or, the other times that she's been here. So it's fun watching her just kind of have the awareness to how the game is played, who's doing what, is so-and-so okay. And my wife, I mean, she's a warrior. She's been really just kind of welded into the cockpit with me to go and go on this journey. And she supports those kids, through thick and thin. And it's just really fun to be able to share it with them and certainly our fans as well.
I certainly appreciate the candor. I asked Coach Johnson this question. I'll ask you the same. Being very respectful of your time. Was there a point in this season where you knew, just what you described, the team that seemingly played better when they faced some adversity? I mean, quite literally, your staff, I don't even know if you know this, they had a better batting average against when there was runners on base than when there was nobody on base in Omaha. Was there a point in this evolution where you knew this team had that it thing, whatever it is that lets them do that? Was there a moment?
I think there were glimpses. I mean, Bears home run against Tennessee, they gave us a chance to get in there, and we took advantage of it. And I mean, that's why you got to play all 27 outs or even more if you're going to extras. There were snapshots through there, but I felt like once we got into the SEC tournament, even though we lost to Ole Miss, I thought we played pretty well. And it's just like, hey, listen, we felt like if Curiel and Stanfield got on twice a game, you're gonna have a hard time beating us.
Yeah.
If those two got on base and Jones is clicking, like just mail it in, because anything else that Jake Brown torching right-handers and Ethan Fry torching left-handers, and there's things that you can see kind of evolving, and then Danny doing his part. You go around the diamond. Luis had some big swings down the stretch. It seemed like when somebody wasn't really maybe going to be expected to do something, they had a moment. And that's, I think, kind of a characteristic of great teams where you could go back and say, hey, do you remember this weekend? Oh, yeah, so-and-so. And, well, what about this one? I mean, how about Zach Cowan against Arkansas?
Yeah.
The guy went out there and just spun it great. Jaden Newt was behind him. And then, of course, the big fella Shores, the last probably month and a half, was what I think people expected when he stepped foot on campus and going through his obstacles, that he's had to go through. It's great that he really started to kind of peak at the time where we needed him most. And that's what's, I think, fun looking back on this group of kids, is that every one of them had a part in it. And we were talking about that as a team when we got back, that even some of the guys that didn't swing a bat, make a pitch, field a ground ball, or anything along those lines were still very invested. Their energy was felt, their support, a lot of different things that went into this. And that's, I think, what I'll probably remember the most is just it was a total collaborative effort across the board. Kid Mbidi caught big innings in conference play. Dalton Beck, big single up the middle against Tennessee. And you can pick those moments throughout there. But, yeah, I felt like towards the end of the year, our guys were just almost like, all right, good, postseason. This is what we've been sharpening our tools for, so let's get to work. And
the journey ended atop the mountain for the 8th time in program history, the 2nd time for you as a head coach, Nate Yeskie, a national champion. Coach, on a busy day, thank you sincerely for taking a couple of minutes for us and our audience.
That's great. Thanks for having me. Go Tigers.
It's our pleasure. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com, with locations all over Louisiana. The Scones are hitting the road to the beach on Thursday. If you're hitting the road to the beach, to Disney, to Tennessee, whatever it may be, Texas, whatever you're doing this summer, make sure you got your vehicle in tip-top shape. Ready to roll, Shawbills can help you do it. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. And, of course, they treat you like family and keep you coming back year after year after year. Oil change, tire rotation, check engine light on, brake squeaking, whatever you got going on with your vehicle, you got to make sure that it's going to get you to wherever you're going. Shawbills can help you do it, and they're going to treat you great. It's Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com, Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Been a heck of a show, and we appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. Missed anything, AFR On Demand, presented by Brett Golf. Make sure you check it out. Final break. We'll come back. Jimmy will be here for Otterlocks. Don't you move.
AFR.
Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siega near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and that Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. The Garden Oasis, the Garden Wonderland, your very own Garden Graceland, the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. It's Clegg's Nursery. You'll get by and see him. Hey, if you got issues, and I've started to notice this now, we're into June, with mosquitoes or other unwanted pests around the house, Clegg's has everything you need to knock them out. The Aeon mosquito barrier, something I tell you about all the time, runs you about $30. Fill it up with water, shake it up, hang it on your property line. You'll be done with mosquitoes for 90 days at a time. I don't know how it works. It's like a magic trick, but it works. So you can get it over at Clegg's. Whatever pest you got that you want gone, Clegg's can help you with that. And, of course, the greatest selection of flowers and plants and trees and shrubs. Buy local, shop local like they've been doing for more than 60 years. It's Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Of course, we appreciate Brandon Holly and the gang over at Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, they do shutters as well. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, one thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Doing great, Matt. How about you?
Friggin' awesome. Tigers won another natty. Are you kidding me? They got us content through the end of June. God bless those boys, I tell you.
Man, congratulations. I just think it was your previous guest. It talked about, it seemed like as the stage got bigger, LSU got a little bit better. Certainly more of a scare than anybody anticipated against a pitching depleted, pretty weak number 4 seed in Little Rock, but a team that obviously played way above, their overall statistics and their metrics for the season. So, I mean, hey, look, man, it's 8's a lot. 8 is a lot. So
unreal.
It's alive and well, and we're talking about it today. Alabama football is kind of falling back to the pack. Kentucky basketball is kind of falling back to the pack. So
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win.
Baseball right now. So. But, Matt, we talk about, if the sport is going to grow and things like that. I'm going to tell you where it has grown. And I saw a big mistake on PTI where they were saying, oh, yeah, the rundown. And they said LSU wins another national championship. Yes, an elimination game. Arkansas had them. No, it wasn't an elimination game. It was Arkansas's elimination game.
Yeah.
But not theirs. But so you have these stumbles where you're trying to get the growth. I can tell you where it has grown. In the gambling space, the sports gambling space, more and more sports gambling podcasts devoted to college baseball, more picks, more of the content of the shows that I go on, like Beeson and stuff like that. So, no, it has grown. That has helped grow it. There's no question.
We got about 2 minutes, so let's get to the picks if we could. What we got tonight?
All right, Mets at home against the Braves. Blackburn, since he's come back off the injured list, his struggle. We're looking for a little improvement. Plus 122 at home is still inviting, so we're going to take the Mets. These were the odds when I called them in earlier to Hunt, so okay. I'm not sure what they are currently at DraftKings. So Mets plus 122. We go in order. Another home dog, the White Sox. White Sox won 2 of 3 this past weekend at Toronto. Now they have their ace on the mound this year. Shane Smith has been very, very consistent for the White Sox all season long. Another home dog coming back plus 122 against Arizona in one of their weaker starters in Rodriguez. And in Milwaukee, the bats are hot. They have won 4 in a row on the road. The first one is at Wrigley Field, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Minneapolis, St. Paul against the Twins. They've scored 43 runs in those 4-game winning streak. We're going to lay the 1 run. That's one of the options you have at DraftKings. You don't have to. A lot of them you have to. If you want to do the run line, it has to be 1.5. We're going to go with -1 because they're a home team, -130 against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
All right, Mets, White Sox, and Brewers -1 are the 3 picks. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
Dallas Heat Place on Government Street.
You'll get by, see Jimmy and Charlie. Thanks, Otter. Good luck.
All right, good luck.
All right, we're getting on out of here. We appreciate you for hanging out with us as always. We appreciate Brandon Holly and the gang over at Relief Windows, title sponsor of our Monday shows all throughout the year. Remember, if you missed anything, you can catch it on demand at 1045ESPN.com, podcast, YouTube, wherever you get all that. Appreciate Jay Johnson, Nate Yeskie for joining us. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. You visit firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. That's where you start. A lot of people who buy land already own land. Maybe you can take some equity that you have in your current property, roll it into your new property. Maybe this is the time of year, y'all. Summer, if you're thinking toward hunting season like so many of you do, if you're sharing a hunting lease and you want your own, you're trying to share that space with somebody else, I don't blame you. Now's the time to call First South Farm Credit. You can begin that process today. Log on to firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com, with branches all over the state of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama as well. They've done one thing for more than 100 years, help Louisianians buy land. So if you want to buy land in the lower 48, whether it's the hunt property in Mississippi, the recreational property in Texas, a big old ranch in Montana, or those 20 acres to build your family's dream home, they can help you. firstsouthland.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Bayou Ford is taking $11,000 off MSRP with 4.9% for 60 months on the new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT, plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.